Good evening, everyone. Look, I'd like to welcome you to the regular meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council, June 11. Council Chair, but Mo Baidoon is not going to be with us today. He's feeling under the weather. So I expect the meeting to be smooth and fast, hopefully.
As always.
So I call the meeting to order at 6:23. Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
You're already 23 minutes.
Hassan Ahmad.
Present.
Mo Baidoon is absent. Nancy Breyer is absent. Robert Constant.
Present.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell is absent. Hassan Saab.
Present.
Tom Wenzel.
Present.
Mr. Chair Pro Tem, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Second, Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Treasurer, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to agenda approval.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant, please.
I move that the agenda for the regular meeting of June 11th, 2024, as submitted, be approved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? Who's in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving to number 4, approval of minutes.
Council Chair, Council Pro Tem.
Councilman,
Make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the regular meeting of May 28th, 2024 as submitted.
motion by
Support.
Councilman Saab. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Constant. Whoever's in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving number 5, public hearings and comment on agenda item only. You have 2 minutes on agenda item only. Please ask all your questions or will be answered after you're done. Any comment from the public? Okay, seeing none. Anybody on Zoom?
I do not see any hands up.
Nothing on Zoom. Moving on to fund transfer and current claims.
Council Pro Tem.
Councilman Saab,
Make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the current claims in ACH wire transfers 6-1 through 6-31 and 6-33 through 6-52 as submitted.
Support.
motion by Councilman Saab, supported by Councilman Constant. Any discussion? All in favor, please aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Saab, please go ahead.
Council Pro Tem, I'd like to pull some items out. We got our,
That's what we do.
We voted on it already.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
um,
Oh, no.
no, Artistic Landscaping, we asked with their contract that they provide us with pictures. And there's no pictures to any of these invoices.
That's true.
So that's number 6 and 7.
Mhm.
And then number 31 and 33, the attorney fees,
Okay.
and that's it.
So you're removing number 6, number 7, 31, and 33?
Correct.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and amend your motion?
I'll go ahead and amend my motion to remove items 6 and 7, 31 and 33.
Do we have a second?
Council Pro Tem,
Go ahead, Councilman.
what should we do about this? We already voted on fund transfer and passed. Do we have to remove that vote or? Because we all voted, you asked for a
Oh,
vote
without-
before
for
discussion.
discussion?
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, passed.
Logically, I would think that you could go ahead and make a motion to,
Suspend the rules.
I don't think you suspend the rules because it's already on the agenda.
Yeah, still on the same
Okay,
thing.
so you could reconsider your votes,
Okay.
Okay.
okay, after discussion.
Okay,
Okay.
so we didn't,
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
do we need a
So I
motion?
make
Yeah,
a
do
motion,
to reconsider your votes for fund tran.
I make a
Exactly.
motion to reconsider our votes for fund transfers
Okay, do we have a
and current
second?
claims.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Wenzel. Do you want to go ahead and amend your motion?
Yes, I amend my motion to remove numbers. No.
We're gonna.
We
No,
vote
not to
on,
no, because you're going to reconsider it.
Sorry.
oh, we want to you want to vote on the reconsideration?
Not yet. You're going to
Okay.
do your discussion now.
Okay, I'd like to remove items 6, 7, 31, and 33.
So now we make a motion with the amended
Well, you're going
motion.
to have discussion, right?
Okay, well, this is the discussion. Any discussion? He just gave his discussion.
So you're
Council
going to
Chair?
reconsider and amend your motion.
Yes. So I reconsider and amend my motion to remove items 6, 7, 31, and 33.
Okay, do I have a second for that?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Wenzel. Let's take this to a vote.
No, you want to discuss now? Are you done with your
We are
discussion?
in discussion.
You're all done with your discussion? Okay.
Councilman, go ahead.
Briefly, do we know, did anyone communicate that to Artistic on 5 and 6, and do
Oh,
we have that
to be honest,
information?
Councilman, I did last time, and I made it clear that we need date stamp pictures for every work they do, and I haven't gotten any.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember
so-
that.
Who's, which department, is that whose department is
I
that?
think it's
would be
between
DPW.
ordinance and
DPW.
DPW.
Do we have a representative to talk about this?
Council Chair Pro Tem, we did put it in their contract as you requested.
Correct.
You guys did vote on the contract.
Mhm.
So we can do a follow-up to find out what the problem was if they sent the wrong pictures. But it is in their contract and was
For
added
them to
per
send
your
them.
request.
So let's hold their payment now until we got those pictures done. Any more discussion?
And Council Chair Pro Tem, the Perkins Law Group, the one attorney there who's of counsel, what's the objection regarding his bill?
Go
I've
ahead.
asked, Council Pro Tem, I've asked Roger to submit the opinions, all I got was one email. I told him, go ahead, put them in my mailbox. When I get a time to review them, I will. Nothing was in my mailbox.
So
Okay.
we're waiting for a detailed billing from?
No, I'm waiting for the opinions that he said that were confidential. And I said if the opinions were confidential, taxpayers should not be paying the bill.
I don't think you understand. When you say opinion confidential, they're involved in the negotiations with our police officers union, our command officers union, our patrol officers union. Information that's discussed, they've put a detailed bill of what they've done to you.
Why are
In
we
fact,
reaching
wait,
out to
wait,
another
Council,
law-
Council, no
Let him finish,
disrespect,
let
I
him finish.
apologize, no disrespect to you. I sent you yesterday again a summary from HR on the role that they've performed with HR in terms of our contract negotiations. Now, I can't disclose what's being discussed in the negotiations, and we shouldn't because there's confidentiality. On the issue of, and that's the Perkins Group, on the issue of Don Denault and their advice, they've been giving us advice. They have a representative, a lawyer that sits at the Planning Commission that gives advice, and that's part of the bills. They've also given advice on the issue of disclosing confidential investigations at the police department, which I forwarded to you. One was dated February 9th. I sent it to you February 14th. I sent it to council members. I asked you if there's something that you can respond and let me know what other issues. We went back and forth, but I haven't seen anything other than you want me to drop off a hard copy. I could not do that today, but you asked for that last night, but I've sent it to you for 4 months. I don't know
So,
what they've done that you're disagreeing with.
Thank you, Mr. Farina. Councilman, go ahead.
so, two response to that. Number one is, we have a law firm that we already use for labor negotiations. I don't know why we're going out to another law firm, and was that ever approved by council?
Let's not go
That's number
over
one.
the-
Number two
Councilman, let's not
is
go over
that,
the,
just for the record, he sent me an email yesterday at 5 o'clock, not a week ago, not a month ago. And Roger, I told you yesterday in an email, I told you what I had from February
Councilman,
14th.
I know you requested that last week. Let's go ahead and get those opinion. Let's move on to a vote.
Council Chair,
Councilman,
as far as the artistic landscape, were they made aware of the requirements?
they signed a contract that they need
When
to,
was the contract signed? I mean, I don't want to hold their money back, because this is something that
when we approved it a couple months ago.
a couple months they've had.
Cooper,
Something with the Zoom. One
they
second.
took over, I changed my password. I'm sorry. And I did change my password.
So they, Councilman, they were well aware that they need to provide
If we,
date stamp pictures.
yeah, I mean, if we withhold their payment for this meeting, I mean, when would it be brought back up? Because I've been in contact with them, and they've never mentioned anything about the photos, but they do a lot of stuff for the
We had a
community.
discussion
Yeah.
with Director Conrad last time when we signed and Mr. Farina did put in a contract that they need to provide a date stamp picture for every work they do and provide it to the council. I didn't receive anything, so let's see, let's take it off until they provide us with the pictures, then we can move on. We need to be fair across the board. Are we ready to take it for a vote?
Yes.
Whoever is in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
The ayes have it. Moving on to number 7, consideration of bids, City Engineer D, Professional Infrastructure Improvement Design Services.
Council Chair, Council
Councilman
Pro Tem.
Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for professional infrastructure improvement design services to Wade Trim and authorize the comptroller to return the bid bonds to the unsuccessful bidders. In addition, authorize the mayor, clerk, and clerk to sign the contract on behalf of the city and make the necessary payments in the amount of $63,100 from account number 592-538-817000 as outlined in 7A.
Second,
Is it all done? Okay, motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion? Any discussion by anybody? Actually, I have a question, Mr. Deep. Is Wade Trim is the only bidder on this? Like nobody else bid on it?
Council Chair Pro Tem, evening. So this was solicited for bid and then advertised publicly, and there was only one bid, twice. And it's simple. I think until we get our own GIS, the fact that they hold is, so yes, and it is, by the way, this is fully reimbursable. This is the cost that we do for infrastructure improvement, which will then tap fee, will bill the developer for tap fee. So that cost is reimbursable by users. So.
Excellent, thank you very much. Any more questions to Mr. Deep? Councilman?
why does it say in there that we're returning the bonds to the unsuccessful bidders?
Because it's a standard memo. It just came up in the standard memo.
There's only one person bidding, because in this motion, it looks like there were other people bidding.
Yeah,
I should say the only bid
yep.
was made by Wade Trim.
Yes, sir. I agree. We can amend it.
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to do that, just so we know.
Yes, sir.
I'll go ahead and amend the motion to remove
The part to
the
return.
part to return bid bonds to unsuccessful bidders.
Do you have a second?
And acknowledge that Wade Trim was the only bidders on this.
And acknowledge that Wade Trim was the only bidder on this bid.
Okay, motion amended by Councilman Saab. Do you have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Okay, let's take this to a vote. Whoever is in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 7B, IT Director Cooper, bid award, IT vehicle lease agreement.
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve a 24-month lease agreement for 2024 Edge SEL from Mission Ford with a monthly lease payment of $397 and $5,022.04 due at signing for use by the Department of Innovation and Technology. In addition, provided the mayor also authorizes any such payment as a necessary expense, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payments from general ledger account number 101-258-816000. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant and payment without prior authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with city charter section 8.9 as outlined in 7B.
Motion by Councilman Constant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Wenzel. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Just, why is the down payment, Mr. Cooper, so high?
It was in use to try to lower the payment for the next budget cycle for that. I had a vehicle budgeted for this year, but because the pricing was so high and leasing prices just came down, I wanted to use the budget that was this year to help lower the payment for the next 2 years.
Okay.
Okay.
Council Pro Tem?
Go ahead, Councilman.
So this money was budgeted last year for a car?
It is in the current 23-24 budget.
For how much?
It was 7,000 total was budgeted,
Close to 8,000.
but that was the new
The new
one.
one, the
Yeah,
new one.
because I couldn't find anything at that current time. Leasing pricing was much higher than it is right now.
Just out of curiosity, when, you've been using your own car, I take it, right?
I sporadically use one of my cars and one of the city cars as I drive
Okay,
through the city.
now, liability wise, driving a city car, does that increase our liability? Because if he drives his own car, his own insurance cover would cover any kind of incidents he has. Is that right? Or,
Yeah, but he's a city
Council Pro
employee and he
Tem.
goes between
I'm just
buildings.
wondering if it raises their,
Council Pro Tem.
does my liability insurance raise when that happens, or when they start driving more city cars we have?
Mayor?
It's actually worse if you drive a personal car on personal business and you wreck your car. So right now, it's just, we have with insurance with MMRA, they cover all vehicles. And anytime we add a vehicle, they put on their policy.
Thank you, Mayor.
Just out of, just for the knowledge, if anybody driving a city car is involved in an accident and there's a fatality, how does that differ from them if they were driving their own car and there was a fatality? I mean, is it
Because
like,
they're working.
Councilman.
yeah, I mean, is insurance, would his insurance company or her insurance company pay for it in that situation if they're driving their own car? I mean, is our liability going up anytime we get a new person driving a new city car? And, if so
Mayor?
how much?
Would you like to answer that?
Okay, so actually, it's worse when you drive a personal car on a personal business.
Yeah.
So they can actually, even the driver can actually get sued, so that employee. So now, when you drive a city vehicle on city business, and if the car gets wrecked, MMRA takes care of it. So they go after MMRA, our insurance company. So if he's driving his personal car, then MMRA has nothing. They can't do nothing because he's driving his personal car, so they can go after the employee and his insurance company.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman, are you all set?
Not really, I mean.
And
that's-
still
it's
go
not
after
really-
us.
Yeah, they can still, yeah.
It seems like their insurance rates would go up the more, if you had one city car opposed to having 100 city cars. I mean, it seems like your rates would be a lot higher. The more city cars you have, the more,
Definitely, too.
Yeah.
But you can expect,
It's a blanket,
city employees to drive their
Yeah, I
own car
understand
within the
that.
city.
I just from, yeah.
Yeah.
All the other, most of our other directors have
Correct.
vehicles. Yeah.
Director, you're gonna be the only one driving that car, correct?
I'm the only one in my department right now.
Are you
Supposed to
the
hire
one
somebody, though,
driving?
but that's part-time.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions from council members? Let's take this to a vote. Whoever's in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on.
Thank you.
Thank you. 7C, Parks and Recreation Director, SOAR, bid award, Daily Park Fitness Court, reinforced concrete slab. Council members, do I have a motion? Anyone?
Hold on.
1 second.
Can we have, I'll make the motion that Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for the construction of a 36 by 36
It's
reinforced
38.
concrete slab.
38 by 38.
Was it? Oh, 38 by 38, yeah, concrete slab for the fitness court at Daly Park.
DeAngelis.
DeAngelis Diamond Construction in the amount of $23,897.50, which allows for a 10% owner
Reserve.
reserve and authorize the comptroller to return the bid bonds to unsuccessful bidders. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract on behalf of the city. This project will be paid for by the TIFA as outlined in 7C.
Motion by Councilman Wenzel. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion?
What is this? Can you come up and explain what
Director?
this is? I went by there and I didn't see it, what it is, where's it gonna be?
It's actually,
If you're facing the park, it's on the right side, down on the right side of the tennis courts. There's
By the
this,
houses?
near the houses, but there's enough area there that'll still be a little bit away, but that's kind of where the spot is.
So what's this,
Councilman,
what's,
go through me first.
yeah, Council Pro Tem,
Are you
sorry.
done, Councilman? Okay, please go ahead.
What's this for?
This is actually for the fitness court that we got the grant for. The slab is where they install all the parts into, the equipment pieces.
Is that the fitness pieces?
No, well, the fitness pieces will go into the slab. That's how they're secured, by having the slab.
So I just thought we removed that out of the budget.
That was the one for the north end at the Canfield Community Center. The other one is in this current year's budget.
And which grant was this?
The National Fitness Grant.
As a matter of fact,
ahead.
Council, the equipment was delivered already. The equipment is sitting over at DPW. So we have the equipment, we just don't have the pad to put the equipment on. And this was already in the budget, and the bid was, so the pad itself and the location was picked last year, and the grant paid for the equipment and delivered them. So we currently just need the pad so we can put the equipment on it.
And Tifa's paying for the pad?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, any more discussion, council members? Okay, let's take this to a vote. Whoever is in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 7D, Parks and Recreation Director Sower, bid award, Canfield Center marquee sign. Do I have a motion?
Council Chair,
Go ahead, Councilman.
I make a motion that Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for the Canfield marquee sign to the Lead Line Incorporated in the amount of $69,382.50, which allows for a 10% owner reserve due to possible hidden electrical issues. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city pending corporation council review. Further, authorize the mayor, comptroller, or clerk to sign the necessary warrants, and the treasurer to issue payment from the 2023-2024 Parks and Recreation budget, account number 691-981, as outlined in 7D.
A motion by Councilman Winslow. Do I have a second? I can second, right? I second for discussion. Any discussion on this?
Council Chair.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Well, $70,000 for a marquee sign, especially at that location, I think the money is better spent with, increasing visibility on the website or something that everybody in the city sees. It's just a lot of money. It's almost $100,000.
Thank you, Councilman.
Council Pro Tem.
Councilman, go ahead.
I would rather see this go into a park. Our own city hall doesn't even have a sign like that. It's just, I just don't see the necessity.
Any more discussion? Director, you want to add something before take it to a vote?
If we don't get a sign, we won't be able to use the current one that we have, and it'll have to remain blank because I cannot force my staff to injure themselves to put letters up on an old sign. So, previously I've said everything that I could say. It's the way that we advertise our programs. Our programs are very important, but, if we can't tell the people where they're at and when the sign up is at, and, anything other than, any other details that we need, then, that's not good either. I know that Berwyn Center has one, Eaton Center has one. We are discounting the cost by using the the poles that we have currently. So, that's, unless anybody else has any questions.
Yeah, I have a question. Can't we use this money to put a sign here at City Hall?
This is out of the Parks and Recreation budget.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman. Please go through me before, please. Any more questions? Okay, let's take this to a vote. Whoever is in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Robert Constant,
No.
Hassan Ahmad,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
No.
Tie vote, motion fails.
Okay, moving on to reports from the mayor. Payment of IB electric invoices. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion? No motion? Go ahead. There's no motion? Okay, I guess motion failed. We don't even refer to the administration?
You'd have to have a motion to do that.
Okay. Do I have a motion to refer it back to the administration?
Yes, I'll put a motion to forward this back to the administration. This is, want to make a comment on this quickly. This is an administration and a police department issue. This is not a city council issue. Thank you.
Do we have a second on that motion to refer it back to the administration?
Second.
Second motion by Councilman Saab to refer it back to the administration, seconded by Councilman Wenzel. All in favor, please say aye.
Council Chair, is discussion?
We already discussed it. But there's no motion to discuss.
No, I mean, you already tabled it, so.
There's
Council
no
Chair
motion
Pro
to
Tem.
Council
discuss.
Chair Pro Tem, there was a
There was a
motion.
motion.
After there was no motion, then Councilman Saab did motion to refer it back to administration,
Uh-huh.
item 8A, payment of IB electric invoices. So then you would open it up for discussion.
After the second, okay. Any discussion?
Council Chair. Pro
Mayor?
Tem. So I did send you the letter from the attorney.
Mhm.
So I don't know why we're referring it back to the administration. So we already submitted to you and the chair, the letter from the
Mayor, I
attorney.
did receive the dismissal for the case, but it does say without prejudice, which means if we pay them, they can go and come back and sue us. I would say either instruct the Madam Treasurer to send back the money and, have whatever the payee pay them directly, because we never authorized this before.
Council Chair, Pro Tem, we already deposited the money. It's in our city account, so.
I understand,
In
but-
order to give it back, we still need a motion to give the money that we deposited. So the money came to the city already.
So you're saying give a motion for the treasurer to send the money back?
Yeah, yeah, we need to give them the money back.
Anybody would like to entertain a
Yes,
motion?
I would entertain a motion to,
Wait,
Do you want to,
We don't need to
file-
suspend the rules.
Council
It's still
Chair,
within the-
no, we still have a motion on the table
Oh, yeah.
to refer it back to administration.
Okay,
So
we
you
have to
want
vote
amend
on the
the
motion first.
okay.
Council Chair Pro Tem, with that motion that's still on the table, would the Councilman Saab be able to articulate his reasons for wanting to send it back to the administration? He says it's a police issue, but I don't think that's definitive enough to guide us in what specifically he's looking for so we can articulate it and have it in the record.
Councilman, would you like to answer that or move on?
No, let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay, let's take that to a vote.
To move it,
to
to refer it back to
the
administration. Okay.
Whoever's in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. And we have this motion 8B. You want to go ahead with the motion 8B to instruct the administration to
Yes.
ask treasurer to send the money back to the payee?
Yes, I make a motion
Oh, okay.
to instruct the treasurer's office for the check that was cashed from DTE to Dearborn Heights be issued back to DTE, so that way DTE can pay the contractor directly.
Is that good? Okay, a motion by Councilman
And that
Saab.
be authorized, and the mayor can verify with DTE via email or letter. That's what the payment will be made.
Okay. Motion by Councilman Saab. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
Council Pro
Chair
Tem?
Go ahead, Councilman.
Just to make, myself clear and the residents, this is something that was a job done at the Justice Center, correct?
And please,
The whole
And, it was done through DTE, and they had a subcontractor work for DTE,
Correct.
and it was up to DTE to pay that contractor, not the city. And why
Correct.
was the check made to the city in the first place?
I guess there was some kind of investigation and city administration asked DTE to send the check to the city. But we never authorized that work. I mean, we never authorized that payment, so it's not our money, it's through DTE. and then there was a lawsuit.
Oh, well, see, I'm not familiar with this whole thing. I guess I should be, but so it's up to DTE to pay
That guy,
IB
correct,
themselves, not us to get the money and us pay IB.
correct,
So we're like the middleman we shouldn't be.
correct.
Madam Treasurer, is this gonna be an issue at all? Any kind of problem?
No,
Please at the podium.
Sorry, yes, of course, to the podium. Yeah, so the check was issued to the city of Dearborn Heights, which, as you know, in the treasurer's office, it's our job to receipt that, which is what we did. We were working with, it came from Director Vanderplow with the police department. I don't know if he's on and maybe he can answer. I don't know if he wants to, but he was handling this transaction. And then we talked about that, and then now you want to do a refund, which is what you've just authorized, which will go through the accounts payable process to do a refund back to DTE, okay, and then DTE can pay them. I have not seen the contract. I don't know if you've seen the contract, but what does it say? And as this rebate, right? It was a rebate. It should have gone to the contractor, but I don't know that, so I can't really comment. I'm not an attorney. I would, yield to our attorney, but again, it depends on the contract, but I will follow your orders to get the refund.
I believe that contractor did do some work in different buildings of the city, and he got paid by DTE direct.
Possibly,
Correct.
yeah, possibly.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table.
Council Chair Pro Tem?
Yeah.
If Councilman Saab doesn't mind amending it just to further authorize the comptroller, or the mayor and the comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants. And obviously, you already directed the treasurer to issue them.
Yes, I also authorize the mayor and the comptroller to authorize the warrant for it to be sent back to DTE, for DTE to pay the contractor or subcontractor they sent out, directly.
Councilman Winston, would you like to second that amendment?
Yes.
Yes. Motion seconded by Councilman Winslow. Any more discussion? Okay, let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on. 9, reports from city officials. 9A, City Engineer Deeb, Metro Act, right-of-way, telecommunication, permanent extension, AT&T. Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council rescind motion 24-113 and approve the new motion for the extension of the AT&T Metro Act right-of-way telecommunication permit contract. Additionally, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the attached Metro Act right-of-way permit extension on behalf of the city as outlined in 9A.
Motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Council Chair, as a housekeeping matter, we're getting texts that people aren't coming out, being allowed onto Zoom. So if Madam Clerk could check and see.
There's nobody in the waiting room.
Yeah, some people aren't being let in, that's what their emails say.
There's nobody in the waiting room.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Go ahead, Councilman.
Director Deeb?
Yes. He's an engineer.
Engineer?
Engineer.
Are you a director, or considered a director?
No.
City engineer.
Do you have your own vehicle? That's how we consider it. Now, I seen this, I wanted to talk to you earlier about it, but
Okay.
the right of way, what's that mean?
Councilman, if you look at the right-of-way permit, these are the infrastructure, telecommunication infrastructure that goes on in the right-of-way, the city right-of-way. So if you look on page 1 of both contract, this one and item 9B, this covers things like the copper and fiber cable lines, wire switches, conduits, pipes, the communication lines for, AT&T and so these are the fiber network that we have in the road right away. So these are the big boxes that you see. I think I have a couple of them that people complain about. But that's what the contract that allows the installation, and I believe we have an AT&T person,
It allows them to do,
to install them
anything you
and to
want?
maintain them.
I mean,
So in
if
every
they want a
community.
giant 10-foot by 10-foot box on a pole in someone's backyard, they can do that without?
No, it's in the road right away. So you see them in the road right away. They have big
Okay,
boxes that
just on
says
the road?
AT&T.
Yeah.
Well, and they also have some overhead orange, I believe, conduit. Mr. Cooper
Next to
plays
my
with
house.
those quite a bit. Yeah, I know. But these are, so they're utilities, but they're not DTE. So we're all used to DTE stuff all over the place, but these are also infrastructure, conduit, communication, cable. These two contracts do not include antennas and cell towers and stuff. So when people see AT&T, they assume it doesn't. This is the fiber network, the switches, the boxes, and pipes, and generators, transit equipment, amplifier, communication devices.
So they can do whatever they want in that right away, underground, above ground, anything?
Yeah, just like DTE does. They're governed by a Public Service Commission. They don't even have to pull a permit.
Do we get any money out of that deal?
This, we don't. What we should is the cell towers.
Yeah.
But this is just public utilities. It's cell towers are not.
They're using them poles and stuff. Whose poles? Are those DTE's poles?
They install them.
They install their own
yeah.
poles?
And some of them, they actually share with DTE. So the ones, I'm having a hell of a time. So DTE has the higher portion of the poles for electric transmission lines, and then the lower portion will be cables and AT&Ts and communications. So they do it that way.
A year or 2 years ago, I suggested, we put something in our master plan or something, start putting stuff underground, and everybody looked at me like I had two heads. And
This is a good idea.
Storms all the time, we're knocking wires down. I mean, when are we gonna do something like that? When are we gonna say, hey, from now on, you put it underground?
So just so we
Guaranteed reasons.
the item 7A that you just approved, that's going forward when we have new subdivisions being built, like, we're going underground. So even DTE is going underground, but you have to start somewhere. We didn't have it in our, we're going forward, we are. So we're implementing a lot of changes, and that's one of them,
I mean, we should do something, because even if it costs more money, maybe 50 years from now, we can have it all done, starting out somewhere. I mean, anytime you replace a line, now, I'm sorry, you gotta go underground with it. I mean, all the new communities have them on everything.
yes, sir.
underground.
If you are in Canton and you're developing a new subdivision, it's all underground.
We're a city with
There's-
a future. I mean, that's the future.
Yes, I agree.
Not all everything overhead.
I
I live
agree.
down on a corner,
I agree.
and I've got wires this big running, 4 or 5 of them running right past my house, and it looks really nice.
So I give a lot of credit to our attorney, but with these things, actually, now that I have non-expired permits, I can go after them for some of the cables or the conduits, the overhead, that are too low, that actually need repair. But I didn't have a valid contract. I mean, one of them was expired in 2014, I believe. And
Let's
we,
look
no
into
one ever.
something. Let's keep it on the middle
Yes, sir.
burner.
Yes.
Okay?
What's that, Councilman?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Deeb, so with the motion we're rescinding, is it the original permit from 2020?
It's not it's an extension. It's an
Just
actual extension,
So we're
yes.
sending,
So we have, the extension now is going to from 2023 for 5 years, right, Mr. Attorney? You negotiated that.
Yes, and we're expanding more. One question I had, Council Chair Pro Tem, is flooding, or Mr. Dibb, with your permission, would flooding affect if we go underground, especially with the levels that we have in our city?
So conduit, if you're talking about electrical, you're separating the conduits. They're separate. So it is all, so the subdivisions that I'm doing now, it's all underground. DTE wants it to be underground. We want it to be underground. I don't like to see overhead. But this is for electrical. Now, cable companies are going underground. So it's one at a, next will be AT&T. So communications now, mostly the cable people.
Fiber optics.
Yeah, fiber optics are all underground. But this is for new. So if you want to make it going forward, if you want to make it a standard, and then say every time we update a main, we need to make them put them underground, you could. Canton does it all the time.
is that would be a part of the master plan, or? this is
Yes,
something-
well, so actually, you don't need I'm doing it now. I have 2 areas now. We're asking AT&T, DTE, and they agree.
So what do we need? We need a resolution to,
Oh, it's just engineering standard. We just implement it.
the
That's an
policy?
ordinance?
I don't know if that's an ordinance. No, this is just a standard, engineering standard. Going forward, we're required for new development. Now, if there's an existing system and you're only connecting one house, it's not reasonable to tell them the entire thing need to be
So I'm
underground.
saying, do you need something from us, or you can
Okay,
just go ahead and do it?
I'm going to ask. I don't know. I will.
Okay, let's look into it.
But I will.
Maybe Councilman Wenzel will go ahead and bring that.
That's a good idea. No, I agree.
Okay, we're ready. Any more discussion? Let's take this to a vote. Whoever is in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 9B, City Engineer, Deeb, Metro Act, right-of-way, telecommunication, permit extension, Crown Castle Fiber LLC.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the extension of the Crown Castle Fiber LLC Metro Act right-of-way telecommunications permit contract and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the Crown Castle Metro right-of-way permit extension on behalf of the city as outlined in 9B.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? Mr. Deeb, can you give us a brief explanation on this service?
Yeah, so Crown Castle is the one that does the, basically on page one, amplifying equipment, signal boosters, telecommunication devices. It's just a company, I believe it's incorporated in New York and does business nationwide. And they're the people that carry the signal for companies like Xfinity. You know, I believe our department, Cooper, was looking at renting service from some of the fiber companies to transmit signal from point to point. No, yeah, no, you're doing it yourself. Good for you. But that's basically what they do, sir. They're the wholesalers.
Go ahead.
Does this have anything to do with 5G antennas?
No. So again, these two items do not include the antennas on intentionally, because the antenna, we wanted to go, the antennas are the ones that we need to collect money for. And that's
I believe 5G is only with Verizon, correct, in our city?
well, a lot of them are going into the 5Gs,
Only see,
but see, like company like this, and I visited some of their installation on Telegraph and I believe just south of Van Born, and they have a major tower. They're the ones that actually build and install and contract with the cities, and then they sub all these companies. You know, they sell you positions on their tower. And the reason I contacted them is because I needed some repeaters for the water meters. And so I'm trying to get my positions free of charge if we allow them to install it.
What?
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Good, thank you. You know, there's a 5G antenna right across the street from me. I live in a great spot, I'll tell you. It's
Have
on the
good
pole
coverage.
right across the street from me.
Good coverage.
And I
Good
was
coverage.
talking to a guy there from Comcast, and he was sitting in his truck all day. And he's just sitting there, and I said, hey, I said, you gonna work on that 5G? He said, that's not ours, that's Verizon or something like that.
Verizon,
He says, but we will not, Comcast will not climb that pole or go up on that pole until that's shut down, the 5G. That's their company standard, because they don't know the dangers of 5G. I mean, have we ever looked into that? You know, I mean, Comcast won't even go on the pole unless the 5G is shut down.
Yeah,
For safety of
so,
their own employees.
so there are many schools of thoughts on the 5G. Some say they're just as, as safe as the 2 or 3Gs. Some say that, they're, the frequency is much higher. I haven't heard any,
I think they say if you're like 4 feet away from the actual piece at the top, then it might
The
affect you. But
transmitter.
this is like federally mandated, so we have no say in it. I have one outside of my home, and I don't like it, but
I know a lot of countries are banning them. Switzerland and Finland, they're banning 5G all around the world.
I guess I'd like to know in a few years what happens with me.
Well, that's my excuse.
Any more discussion on this? Let's take this to a vote. Whoever's in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
thank you, sir.
Moving on to 9C, Interim Controller Turner, DPW Uniform Rental Program Agreement.
Council Pro Tem.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I'd like to make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the customer service agreement between the City of Dearborn Heights and UniFirst Corporation. UniFirst Corporation will provide weekly uniform and floor mat rentals to DPW workers. The uniforms will have the City of Dearborn Heights emblem. Further, authorize the mayor and the city clerk to sign the agreement and provided the mayor also authorizes any such payments as a necessary expense. The city council authorizes warrant to be issued for the payment of these services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant payment without prior authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with City Charter 8, Section 8, as outlined in 9C.
Motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman.
This motion is way more detailed than any other motion we put forward. Why?
No price on
Mr.
it.
Controller? Did you write this motion?
I did not. But I did agree with it. I think we were just trying to be as detailed as we could and try to get all the things put in front of you at one time.
But my
Go ahead, Councilman.
My question is, and then the section where it says, by doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant and payment without prior authorization.
I think the language is different in this one, but I think we ask for that quite often.
Once you approve the
when we have a
motion,
contract.
All motion says that. Once you approve it. You know, I have a question. Is this something new we're doing? Because I don't remember.
It was something that was negotiated in our last,
So this is something new?
yeah. The rugs are not, the rugs are included in this. We had the rugs
So are they
before,
like
but
for,
the
just-
uniforms and all that are definitely
This is only just for the DPW building?
DPW right now. Police have their own contract and they get their uniforms from someone else, but this is for DPW.
Go ahead, Councilman.
How come there's no cost there in this? Isn't there an agreement with no dollar figure?
Did I not include the per
No,
unit?
there is two proposals, Councilman, if you go in
Want to back up?
the backup
What
on
are
the,
they?
in the
What is
computer. There's one from Sourcewell proposal evaluation. And there's two bids, and one from UniFirst.
Now, the DPW, do they wear uniforms?
We're actually working to have them wear uniforms.
Okay, 'cause I
So they're
don't think
easily identified.
Is there a motion to pay for uniforms now out there somewhere, or?
No, this is the contract, and what we're trying to do is get the contract approved,
So you're renting
So
the
the-
uniforms from this company and they're gonna launder them?
and they're going to launder them, and they're going to deliver them. They were the only company that we went through the bid process with that did all the things that we needed them to do.
Do these include like, winter coats and stuff, things of
Yes.
that nature? Are they
Yep.
safety-related, garments?
Yes.
Like,
Yes, sir.
reflective
Yes, sir.
garments?
Yes, sir, down to the boots,
Yeah.
because there's also boots in this contract.
So I take it each one has two uniforms, and every week they switch one? Like they take the first one, wash it, well,
So
It's weekly.
it'll be the equivalent of a uniform a day with one extra. So I believe that each member will have 11. And then they won't have them all necessarily in one hand, because what they'll do is they'll wear them for the week, they'll bring them back here, UniFirst will pick them up and deliver the next set. Yeah.
Council Pro Tem,
Go
one
ahead,
more question.
Councilman.
Currently in their contract, they have a uniform allowance, right?
Correct,
So is that going to be removed?
correct. And in fact, I thought it was already removed, and this was put in its place in the last contract we did.
there's nothing from the residents?
So it's currently in the negotiated,
So yes, with the new negotiations, it was requested that we provide the uniforms and remove the allowance for the uniforms. So instead of, they're going to receive the uniforms cleaned up and everything every week.
okay,
Sounds
thank you.
good. Any more questions?
Yes.
Councilman,
yeah.
go ahead.
I think, in this motion, there should be a dollar figure put in, at least not to exceed or something like that, or even though it's in a backup, this is the motion, it's the dollar figure
Well,
should be
we're going
mentioned.
with UniFirst and it's-
I mean, you can't put,
the
Council
backup
Chair,
has it. Madam Clerk, do we need to add dollar figure or?
Council Pro Tem.
I would.
You would?
I mean, you're given, there's no dollar amount at all listed in there, in your motion,
Okay,
and you're authorizing payment,
okay. So let's,
unless somebody can.
Yeah, it could be, anything.
Mr. Turner, can you add the dollar figure?
Council
Yes,
Chair.
I'm sure.
Pro Tem.
Yes, I'm
With-
sure we could.
With with your question, Council Chair Pro Tem,
it was in
is it factoring in that this is part of the negotiated
Sorry.
collective bargaining contracts that the workers have that's included?
No, it's whatever we have in estimate, so we can add it up and put it in the motion.
Council Chair, we did provide the price per item. The reason we didn't provide a total amount is because, again, there is fluctuating staff members during the year. So sometimes we may have less employees than others. So that's why we didn't provide one per se, the exact number, because it's going to fluctuate every year. But we do have the amount in there per unit.
I mean, I understand, but I think we still need to have a number there.
Okay.
That we don't surpass.
We can make an
Like
assumption.
our maximum number we'd like to have, use that, not to exceed that number.
Yes, we can provide that.
Can we do it today?
Should we, can we table, just skip?
We can do it today.
We
Can
come
you
back
get
to
it
it until
today?
they have.
We
Or
could
do
do
you
it
want
today.
it
We just
referred
need a
back?
few minutes. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want
that's
to
what I'm
discuss
saying.
it
Can we
back at
just,
the end of the meeting, we can give you the number then.
What should we just,
Motion to table it until.
Table it until the.
can you amend, can we amend your motion table for a few minutes?
I amend to
Not for a
table
few
my
minutes. We can
motion,
come back later.
They'll come
Yeah,
back.
for later.
and move this motion towards the end of the meeting.
We have a second?
Yeah.
We have a second, seconded by Councilman Wenzel. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 9D, Interim Controller Turner, Full Cost Allocation Plan, Gap Analysis Agreement. Do I have a motion?
Council Chair.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council rescind motion, we're on 9D, correct?
Yes.
Correct, yes.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council rescind motion 21-296 and approve the customer service agreement between the City of Dearborn Heights and Maximus for a full cost allocation analysis in the amount of $15,000. The purpose and intention of this analysis is to properly distribute administrative and other related costs to various operating departments, programs, funds, and other components that make up the city. Further, authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement, and provided the mayor also authorizes any such payment as a necessary expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued from general ledger account number 101-223-817-000 for payment of these services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant and payment without proper authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with City Charter Section 8.9 as outlined in 9D.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion?
Council Pro Tem?
Councilman, please go ahead.
Motion 21-296. What was that motion?
The one we were rescinding.
Yeah, I know, but what was it?
Yeah.
Council Chair Pro Tem, this was originally approved, and we had to make some updates, and so we wanted to come back before you to get it reapproved.
Okay, if this was the same thing that was approved by that motion, was it for $15,000?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Hi. I apologize. It was for $14,000. That is why we're coming back, because it increased by $1,000 from 2021 to now. There was a lot of back and forth with the legal contract as well. So it took a little bit for us to get this settled. But we do believe it is extremely important for the city to have this study done, as we did back in 2021. As you recall, this is one of the two findings that we had in the audit, that we haven't had a third party do a cost allocation for our city. So it is critical for us to have a third party do it. We just wanted to, again, get things straight, present the new contract with the new language and the $1,000 increase in the.
How much was the increase?
1,000.
1,000?
Yeah.
What is a,
Go ahead.
okay, so what is a cost allocation analyst? What is that?
Can you go ahead briefly explaining to the residents, please?
Yes, so basically what we're doing is we have cost centers within the city, comptroller's office, treasurer's office, HR, and what we should be doing is we should be allocating costs associated with those departments to other departments, to other funds. And what we're doing is we're hiring Maximus to come in, take a look at our system, how we operate, and then help us identify what that allocation should look like.
Council Pro Tem.
One second, Councilman.
So you're saying that this might mean something in the treasurer's department should be in HR department or something?
Most likely, it's going to be something that's currently under the general fund that could be applied to another fund or another department. So it could be that, but it could also be another fund where our general fund's not footing the bill for 100% of the overhead costs for the treasurer or for the comptroller's office, when major streets should have some of that because of what we're doing there, or we're paying all their invoices. Treasurer is receiving all of their money coming in. Some of her costs should be billable back to that fund.
I just don't understand, why we don't do this ourselves. I mean,
I think there was a point in time.
Shouldn't we know where money goes?
Well, I think there was a point in time where we did, but it hasn't been updated in some time. And I think what we're looking for right now is we're looking for a way to allocate the costs in a fair way that cannot be disputed. And so we're looking for this third party to come in and help us design this program so that we can then execute it.
So basically, we're asking for a middleman.
Yeah, to help us with our money.
So it's because that is the best practice by the auditing recommendations. That is why we keep getting this finding, because we have been doing it ourselves, but it is better when a third-party company does it. The funds that would be reimbursing the general fund for the services that we provide include the pension, the library, water and sewer, major highway, TIFA, the courts. So again, anything that has its own fund would be reimbursing the major.
What's the time frame on this? To be done?
I believe.
Is this something that Gap
Yeah.
can't do? Yeah.
Well, and as far as the time frame, I think it depends on when they come here, what they find. When I spoke to the agents from Maximus, she said, you know what, generally speaking, it could be anywhere from 30 to 45, 60 days, but it depends on your environment and what type of documentation we have to provide for them in order to establish this allocation.
So if it takes longer, do we have to pay more? Or
That's it.
So the agreement in term number 2, it does say that it's in effect until January 1st of 2025. So we are trying to get this done in about a 6-month period so that we have the new numbers with the new year.
Well, and we would actually like to get it done sooner, because that way, when we go through the audit process, it's not another finding.
Is this something that Trimaran Gap can't take care of? I mean, they're not capable of doing this?
So I know they are capable of doing this. I don't know that they'd be this cheap. But I know Plant Moran can do this, but I think there may be some conflict of interests with respect to their current relationship with us.
Because they work for the city now.
Yeah, okay, so what account is this taken out of? What, the GL account, what is that account? Not the number, but what is it?
I believe that's contract services.
Yeah, it is from contractual 223.
Yes, Comptroller's Office.
Comptroller's Office, contractual services.
It's coming from controllers, contractual services.
Right.
And that's in the 2023-24 budget?
It was budgeted for this fiscal year, correct?
Also, Councilman?
Yes.
Councilman Saul?
Yes, so as this company where, for example, we have an event by recreation and we use the police department, or we use DPW, their overtime, or anything to allocate the money back to those departments from the certain department?
So generally speaking, Maximus is going to come in and look to establish protocol for our overhead allocations. With respect to the police department and others, I know there's been some conversations regarding identifying who's going to those events, and then we can just use the work order system to do allocations. But nothing's been finalized on that piece of it, both police and DPW.
So this company does that?
That's not why they're here, but I'm sure they have the ability to do that, yes.
As you're saying somewhat yes, Mariana's shaking her head saying no.
Because what I'm saying is Maximus is not in this contract dealing with the police. That's something that we were looking at
So
separately.
what are they exactly dealing with?
Overhead allocation. So cost allocations for overhead, comptroller's office, treasurer's office, IT, HR.
So my question, sorry to cut you off. So pretty much is that we're hiring a manager to oversee the department heads and how they spend.
It's not really a manager. What they're doing is they're making a recommendation for how we allocate costs to the different programming and funds. So they're going to come in, they're going to do an analysis, they're going to provide an opinion. And then what we have to do is say yes or no to that opinion, and then we're going to actually start allocating the overhead costs to all these other programs and all these other departments. So they're going to come in, they're going to be here for one period of time, and then that's it. And beyond the contract, that's it. There's no more interaction.
Councilman Saab, are you all set, or?
You guys said it was allocated with last year's budget?
It's in this year's budget.
Correct.
No, go ahead, I'm all set.
23, 24. Councilman Constant?
Thank you, Council Chair Pro Tem. I remember my colleague, Councilman Musket, always complaining about how costs were paid out of the water fund because the water's an enterprise fund. There'll be some science behind it, in other words, correct?
Yes, sir. That's
Or, for
exactly what we're
example-
trying to do. We're trying to get some clarity and some science behind our allocations.
Do they do this for other cities, Maximus?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any more discussion? I see none. Let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 9E, IT Director Cooper, Purchase and Payment, Senior Center Computers.
Council Chair.
Councilman, go ahead.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve purchase of 16 Lenovo, Think Center MQ-G3 computers from SHI in the amount of $9,520 for use at the Berwyn and Eaton Senior Citizen Centers by senior residents. In addition, provide the mayor also authorize any such payment as a necessary expense. The city council authorizes warrants to be issued from general ledger account 101-258-932-000 for payment of these computers. By doing so, the city council is authorizing such warrant and payment without prior authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted and consistent with city council section 8.9 as outlined in 9E.
A motion by Councilman Constant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion?
Yes, can we
Go ahead,
put,
Councilman.
so it says here to all, they can, by doing so, again, authorizing the warrant for such payment without prior authorization, can we put the cap at it to be at 9520?
It is mentioned already, Councilman.
Yeah, but at the bottom it says, by doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant payment without prior
Yeah,
authorization by.
with that number that we just authorized in the sentence before. So basically, we're authorizing them to spend this money. They can spend this money, but when they spend it, they don't have to come back here for approval. We're already
Okay.
approving it right now. Director, I have a question. So are we replacing those computers? Is there computers right now, or?
Correct. Each senior center has 8 computers that are in shambles. They're
Okay.
extremely old, so this is replacing their current computers.
Okay, excellent. Any more questions, council member? I see none. Let's take this to a vote. Whoever is in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We move now to 9F, IT Director Cooper, Building Department, BSNA, Online Services Agreement. Do I have a motion?
Council Chairman.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agreement with BSNA for online services for the building department. Account number 101-258-728-001 will be used for the initial fee of $4,885, which includes the first year's annual fee, on-site installation, setup, training, and project management. Moreover, provided the mayor also authorizes any such payment as a necessary expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued from general ledger account number 101-258-728-001 for payment of these services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant and payment without prior authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with city charter section 8.9 as outlined in 9F.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion?
Council?
Go ahead, Councilman.
A couple of things. This language at the end, of a lot of these motions, it's, authorizing, authorizes such payments as warrants, expenses, the city council authorizes. I mean, does this mean, I mean, we should say something that means that it's not to exceed that amount, because, you know, we don't use that language in every motion. You know, and that's, this, I see this every now and then. And like you were saying, oh, it's, that means in this case, it's $4,885. I mean, it should say, you know, it authorizes, you know, without city council approval, the payment of $4,000, you know, not to exceed that. And then my second part is, it says the initial fee of $4,885.
Correct. There is an annual fee for all of our BSNA services. For this service, we can actually currently already pay it. It's roughly about $1,200 a year that we pay for it. We've been paying for it for the past couple years. So this is just to say, hey, we're due for another one, you know, another payment for it, but now this is actually including the training for our building department. This is actually what's been requested for a very long time about our inspections, our permits all going online and be able to pay for them all online. That's what this is.
So it will not exceed $4,885.
Correct, because it's the training for them to come on site for 3 days to do the training, to do the project management, and then yearly, right now it's roughly about $1,200, but again, part of it says how it can go up a certain percentage based on basically inflation and everything. Which the past couple of years, it's gone up each year's gone up like $30, $40.
Council Portan?
Are you done, Councilman?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to, when we have motions like this, I've never been a big fan of them when they say that at the end of these motions. Like I said, it's not in all the motions. It should mention that amount, you know, at the end of the motion. Like, you explained it pretty good, but, I mean, it's kind of vague at the end without city council approval. I know it says we're
You know,
approving
because I
that.
asked that before, when
Yeah.
I first got in
Yeah.
council, like, I didn't like the way it was, but I guess you say the motion, that's the number, and basically we're saying, okay, we're approving it, you can spend this much, you don't have to come back to us once it's time to pay them.
Yeah, I mean, we could throw that in at that point too. It authorizes payment of $4,000 without city council approval, you know. I
Would
mean,
you you'd like to amend your motion?
I'd like to do it on all these that we did. I mean, it's, like I said, we don't see these all the time. Whoever wrote these motions is the same person that's been writing these
I don't put that bottom.
with that language in them.
I don't put that bottom part in.
Yeah.
I submit my initial paragraph, and then
Who
So
puts
I-
that part in?
when I submit it, it goes to the mayor's office.
Councilman Constant, would you like to amend the motion and add the number at the bottom?
Yes. What's the amount?
$4,885.
4,885.
Second.
Okay, the motion was amended to add the number.
Authorize the mayor to pay such payment, any such payment as necessary.
You can say up to $4,885.
Yeah.
Up to $4,885.
Up to $4,885.
Councilman Saab, would you like to second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Saab. Any more discussion?
Yes, I have.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Mr. Cooper, we asked for our access to BSNA about 4 or 5 months ago. And I think the Madam Clerk put a ticket in. What's going on with that?
I'm waiting for direction from the mayor's office.
Mayor?
Council Pro Tem,
Go ahead, Mayor.
we're still we have a lot of things that we're doing, training, and we're just trying to figure out, you know, what we need to do to authorize, because we've never done this before. I'm talking to other cities to see how they've done it as well.
Thank you, Mayor. Director, is there a way we can give access to Madam Clerk right away?
I have
access?
most of the BSNA programs on my
So you're asking
own.
for us to have access?
So, yeah, so,
And I know former city council members that have
Yes.
access to it.
So how can we get city council members to have access?
I'm waiting for direction from the mayor's office.
but we gave direction.
Councilman, Mayor, can we give them instruction to give us access?
Council Pro Tem, okay, again, I'm checking to see with MML, to see the legality with
We've
it,
had
to
it
see.
before.
So just, I put it out there, so I'm waiting to hear something from MML.
Would you hear something soon? I mean,
I'll check on it first thing tomorrow.
Please, Pro Tem, we had it before. We had access.
No. The residents.
please, nothing from the resident, please.
Council Chair.
Go ahead.
Anybody can go on and they look at the sub, there's a lot of information that, that the administration goes through. So any residents can go in there, they can check their taxes, they can check stuff. I mean, anybody can log on to the city website and look at certain things.
But they have to pay for it, though.
If they're the resident, they can actually get it themselves. Contractors, if they wanted to get it, because I've gone through all this training on with them, contractors would usually pay as they go. When you look up an address, first option is, are you the resident? You prove you're a resident, you got to make an account. And then the second option is if you're a contractor, because maybe you're looking up a permit for a building that you're going to do work at, that have to pay as they go. It is not free for everybody.
Council members, so they can look up wherever they need to look up. Mayor, please, if you can work on it so we can move forward. Any more discussion? Council members, let's take this to a vote. Whoever's in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 9G, IT Director Cooper, camera system additions. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Council Chair.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the overage of $20,358.50 for the camera system project for various city buildings, including additional cameras and equipment. Account number 101-258-728-001 will be used for $14,383.62. Federal Forfeiture Fund account number 26500636200 will be used for $4,869.88. And library account number 738-738-932-000 will be used for $1,105 provided. The mayor also authorized any such payment.
Do you want to mention the number again?
$1,100.
No, the 20,000. The whole number,
Oh,
like we did before.
yeah, provide the mayor and also authorize
Such payment up
such
to
payment up
20,000.
to $20,358.50. Payment to the city council is authorizing in such warrant, and payment be without authorization by the city council of the specific warrant, and payment as permitted by and consistent with city charter section 8.9 as outlined in 9G.
Motion by Councilman Saab. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Council, I just got a question. There's a reason why these last sentences are being added in certain motions. And I would like to remove, it just does not, it's just not fit, it just does not sound right. And can I ask who's adding this, Madam Clerk? Because it seems like this-
It's added prior to we get it, so it's somewhere in between Director Cooper and the clerk's office.
Because Council Pro Tem, it seems like once we pass the resolution about how money can be spent and has to come to council, this is being added now.
Good afternoon, Council Chair.
Go ahead, please.
This was the language that had been provided by our Corporation Council years ago when we were purchasing items that don't change in price. That way, we don't have to come back for the purchase of these items because it's redundant since you are approving it right now. That way, it doesn't come back in invoices and it can be purchased. The language was developed by the Corporation Council and it has been added. The reason you're seeing it this week is because I've been including it in all of them, and we are creating snippets so that they are consistent moving forward, so that we make sure that we're not missing parts, because in some of them, we're missing a signature or we're missing a payment. So we are trying to create consistency amongst all of our motions so that they include all of the items that are necessary for
From
the
now on, can
purchase.
we add that number again in the sentence at the end, like up to whatever number we're trying to approve?
Yes, absolutely.
Council Pro Tem,
Go ahead, Councilman.
honestly, this whole sentence should be removed out of all the motions. This just started, I've never seen this, and I can go back to every council meeting I've been on. I've never seen this on any single meeting, on any fixed item or contract.
No, I've seen it. I mean,
It's
I
been
have
there
not
for at
seen
least
it.
2 years since I started working here.
I've
Here
seen
and there, but that,
I can share with you the alternative that's also been placed. You award the bid or whatever in the amount of, I'm reading from some other minutes, 70,000. And then in addition, where does it say? In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment from whatever budget line item it is. So I think it's the way it's written.
Council Pro Tem,
Council Chair Pro Tem.
I'm not
In
done.
my opinion.
Honestly, I'd like to rescind my motion of this, and any motion that includes this.
Council Chair Pro Tem, with your permission.
Sorry, 1 second.
I'd like to rescind, as long as it includes where provided to the outlined item in any motion, I'd like to rescind it.
But you still, like, you're trying to give them the city council authorization to go ahead.
I
and do
understand,
such
but where it
payment.
says that authorization without prior council authorization,
For that,
even for that amount, but it does not, here it still says they're following the section as the charter. I don't have that charter item here to see.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but this is mean when they're ready to pay, they're gonna have to come back to us and. one more
Where it
time.
says section 8.9 as outlined,
Mhm.
what's section 8.9? Have you read it?
I haven't.
Okay,
Council
thank
Chair
you.
Pro Tem, I don't disagree with Councilman Saab. I think if he wants, I have not reviewed it. Obviously, Mariana put that in and used. So if you would like, I can revisit it and look at it and put the wording to say exactly what we intended to say and not overly or taking into Councilman Saab's issues.
Okay. So what we do now?
I would like to rescind my motion to not to include the last sentence of this motion.
This motion, we didn't vote on it yet.
Okay.
We just amended, right? You didn't vote on it?
Yeah, I'd
No,
like to
I-
amend it.
Yes, we're just reading, we got, oh, it was just you,
It was him.
Councilman Saab, it was just you. We didn't even get a second on it.
No,
right?
No,
Councilman Constant.
Mr.
second.
Constant
sorry.
seconded.
Okay.
So
We both
you wanna go ahead and amend it and take that last sentence?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, this is just suggested language that the clerk's office, years ago, we used to have the motion, and we'd always just say, you know,
I know,
as
it's been-
outlined in 9D. So this is just suggested language. And this probably is something that is going to take a little while and some study. But go ahead, I second
You
the-
second?
Council Pro
Okay,
Tem?
so he amended and we have a second. Go ahead, Councilman.
You know, the reason it should come back, I mean, say we're approving, you know, say $10,000. And then what happens if it's only 8,000 and then that 2,000 is out there in limbo somewhere? I mean, it should come back to us for final say, you know?
Still in the general funds, I mean.
Yeah, I know, but, you know,
Basically, now you give them authorization to spend this money, but when they're ready to pay, they don't have to come back here for another approval. So we already approved that.
yeah, so we're taking out, we're, in a sense, taking that 10,000 out, and then, do we know it is spent? I mean, we don't know if it's ever spent or not.
Well, in the budget, yeah.
Council
So
Chair.
sure. Go ahead, Mayor.
You guys still, when you get all the invoices, you guys see every invoice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough to look at every invoice, so.
Well,
you guys are council.
that's our job. Thank you, Mayor. Any more discussion on this? You know, I had a question, Director. It says here that the cost of other projects coming under budget. Any idea what project you're talking about?
If you remember, what was it, July of this past year was my big projects that I did before you. It was, that was the camera project, based on council chairman, was no overage on it. And if I was going to go over to come before you, this is my time to come before you now. And, you know, and actually, you can kind of say I'm under budget because I actually, for this one project, I was awarded a $50,000 grant for it. So even with this overage, that $50,000 grant actually puts me under, but I'm trying to be transparent to you to say, hey, I am doing something that is a little bit more than the original scope of that project.
And then I know here it says project for various city buildings. Do you know what buildings we're talking about?
Yeah, that's why actually why I did all the separate attachments into that one, so that you could see that a lot of them are at the senior centers. There is at Ray, at Canfield, at the two libraries, and at the Justice Center. So just so going to this system, everyone really liked it. Likes what they're seeing. So this is just adding a little bit more, saying, hey, I wish I would have had a camera here. There are some cameras that we were looking at. Hopefully in the new system, we're gonna, I couldn't tell if they're working or not until I actually tried to replace them. So some of these are cameras that I'm gonna be just going up and physically replacing myself because I couldn't get them to work under the new system.
Did we have to go out for bid for those cameras or we're using the same one?
The original contract I did,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Any more discussion, council members? Go ahead, Councilman.
How's the quality of these cameras? Are they?
That's why, yes, they're 5 megapixel cameras. That's actually why, because the people that are there, especially like the senior centers, that now that they have them, they have access, now they're like, oh, I wish we could have got a camera here. So I'm kind of adding the little cameras to make them a little happier.
I mean, it's worth spending this money. I mean, if we're gonna do it something that, I mean, you can say, oh, you can identify a person without saying, oh, it's grainy, he was a white man.
There's always going to be limitations, Council. There's always going to be some limitations about how much you can always zoom and everything. But these are 5 megapixel video cameras. Typically around, you're going to see like 2 megapixel cameras. These they're night and day difference. It really is.
I know we're having some issues with our library for security reasons.
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
That's what we need to.
Yep.
Get that.
All set, Councilman? Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, let's take this to a vote. Whoever is in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving to 9H, IT Director Cooper, purchase and payment, DPW supervisor's laptop. Do I have a motion?
Council Chair Pro Tem.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase of 6 Microsoft Surface Pro 9 laptops and keyboards from CDWG in the amount of $7,998.18 for the DPW supervisors, which are intended to be desktop replacements and allow the water, highway, and building department supervisors to be mobile ready. Provided that the mayor also authorize such payment as a necessary expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued from general ledger account 101-258-932-000 in the amount of $5,332.12 and general ledger account 101-536-728-000 in the amount of $2,666.06. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant and payment without prior authorization by the city council. The specific warrant and payment is permitted by and consistent with City Charter Section 8.9 as outlined in 9H.
Motion by Councilman Constant. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second discussion?
Council Pro Tem?
Go ahead, Councilman.
We just gotta take that last part of this out of here. I mean, every time I'm looking at it, I'm saying we're authorizing this money, but we can't keep track of if it's spent or how it's spent, or how much to the penny of it is spent. I mean, it should come back to us. I mean, I'm not against, approving this in another meeting. I mean, once we approve this money, we have no way of tracking it to see if it's spent or how much is spent, and what's the odds of this being exactly what we end up spending?
Councilman Constant, would you like to make a motion to remove the last sentence again?
Yeah, we can modify the last sentence.
Would you like to second that now?
Yeah, I'd like to second it, but I mean,
Maybe we can look at this, let's get it done because it's a detailed discussion and we can be here all night.
I mean, we should say in doing so,
I mean, even when we remove it, I don't think there's
without prior authorization. You say with authorization from city council. I mean, spend it with authorization from city council. Because, I mean, it's money.
Sorry.
I just don't.
Good afternoon. Again, we can modify the language as you please. I just want to explain the process of how this came about, right? So you are authorizing the purchase right now for exactly what you're seeing. Once we receive the motion, then the directors typically have the authorization from council to purchase it. So when they purchase it, the mayor signs the warrant, and then it goes to the clerk too. The clerk typically asks for the backup of the council authorizing it. Oh, sorry, the treasurer typically asks for the backup of the motion authorizing it. So we attach the motion for what the exact amount is with the invoice that she issues. So that is the control that is there and why you don't need the additional authorization because it was already authorized once. So when she signs the check, so if tomorrow he goes and he gets the invoice and he signs off on it, we attach the motion. She approves it, the mayor approves it, and it goes to the vendor for payment for the exact item that you're seeing here. So it is trying to avoid bringing these items back because it is exactly what you're seeing, what is going to be purchased. Again, if you want a different language to be clearer in that respect, we can do that. This was developed by Mr. Miyake back in the day when we started getting invoices for the MMRMA insurance, which was a triple payment throughout the year. So again, it was for a total amount, but we had to pay it in 3 different installments. So it was so that we didn't come back every time we had that installment for certain items.
So now by removing the last sentence, would that affect the motion? Do you-
It would have to come back in claims. So that is why it's redundant, because you already approved it and it's coming back again. So that simply removes it from coming to claims. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have the authorization. It just means that we have to provide it to the treasurer for her to issue that warrant.
Council Pro Tem, but what's gonna, say if you're buying, 6, laptops, and then we go to buy them, the guy says, hey, you know what, they're on sale now, $100 off. Okay, well, then it's, $600 less, and, I mean, it's just like, we're giving them permission to spend this money, and then, sure, it's on a receipt, but we don't have time to, look at a receipt and come back and see what the motion was, and, I don't have that kind of time, but, it should come back to us and say, okay, this was approved, this much was approved, this much we're spending. It's not the end of the world to do something like that. It just seems not transparent. There's something funny about it, it just seems like it's, just something, why are they saying that, And, it's no secret that this administration and the former corporation council don't see eye to eye, but they're seeing, this thing, they like this thing, I don't know.
Madam Clerk, you had something to say?
Council Chair Pro Tem, I don't know if this will be helpful, but there's another way that it's presented to you as well. And it says, okay, you're approving the bid for accountability and oversight. I'm just reading from another one. As the lowest bidder. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment from account 101, blah, 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 as outlined. So it's just a different way of saying it. That still avoids it, or it doesn't have to go then come back to you on claim. So it's whether or not you want to see the actual invoice when it comes in.
Thank you, that's helpful.
So that would be up to you as the
I
body
wouldn't
that's
mind
approving.
seeing the actual invoice,
And then it would have to go on claims, but that's up to you. But I think Chief of Staff
and
had
it should be,
explained that.
when things like this come along and it's in claims, we should say, they say, okay, it's not our job to do it. It's their job, they should say, hey, this was approved in, June 11th, this is the one. That's what this claim is.
But she's saying, Councilman, if we approve it now and approve it that way, the way you're saying, then it has to come back on claims and we have to approve it again.
Yeah.
It's like redundant, so.
Well, we see it being spent.
I know, so
how do we
your
know
point
it's being
is, in
spent?
case like he doesn't spend the amount, your concern is what happened with the rest of the money?
Well, what happens if he doesn't ever
It
buy
goes-
these?
It stays in the general account.
Councilman, if I could say, in the very rare circumstances that ever, because getting the quotes, that it actually comes back cheaper, that means that money stays into my account number that's there, and I get to allocate it towards different funding for the city.
Something else.
Yeah, I'm just not comfortable with that language. It just seems like that there's an open end there, I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. We should look into this, just eliminate that.
If
kind
it
of
makes
language.
you comfortable, we can add something like if there's any changes to come back to the city council.
Well, but the
greater than
clerk said,
10%
don't even put that in there because
25%.
it's saying that without council approval. That part right there.
Without council approval for a second time, because
Yeah,
we
I
already
know,
approved it.
yeah. So, I don't know, why put it in there then?
Because if we don't, we got to bring it back to claims.
To
That's,
claims.
Well, is that what you were saying, when you said it had to come back in claims, right? Is that what it is, or?
If you don't authorize the payment, I think we have two options right now.
We can authorize the payment.
And then it wouldn't have to go on to, if you authorize the payment when you award the bid or
no, it's
award
contract.
the quote or whatever, and you authorize the mayor and the clerk or the comptroller and the treasurer to issue the warrant, then it doesn't have to come on claim. Then you won't see the invoice. You'll see the quote, but you won't see the actual invoice.
Yeah, no. We want to see the actual invoice on these. Why not?
Well, you already have it, the invoice. That's the one in the back.
Yeah, the quote, not the invoice, yeah.
There's no quote. Why not see the actual invoice on these things?
So how do you want it done?
There's a paper
Once
trail
they
now.
pay for it, to send you the invoice? That's what,
Put it in current claims.
well, then you're gonna have to approve it again.
Well, then we prove it again. I mean, I don't, why is it in there? Why is this all of a sudden something new that we don't put in?
I mean, it's been all along, to be honest with you.
No, it hasn't been all, I can read you a couple at the beginning of this meeting where it's not in there, a couple of the motions.
Council Chair Pro Tem?
Go ahead.
I've been here since February 7th. Almost every motion that I've seen has that language in it that the clerk has described.
That's not true.
Well, there's two different versions.
Yes,
Yes. There's
but
the one with the-
you described them both, and almost every one of them has one of those two at the end of the paragraph. And I was actually going through them again as I was sitting there listening, and I've yet to find one that doesn't have it.
Thank you.
Now, that's February 7th is when I started.
This one, IB Electric doesn't have it. This one, the Metro right away. That's just tough for me to get this. They all don't have it.
Well, the one that's just a contract, not
Yeah, I know,
paying
yeah.
anything, that's why. Okay, we need to move on, Councilman.
Yeah, we better look into this for sure. I mean,
Okay, let's take, any more discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Mr. Cooper, we're getting these supervisors' laptops, but when are we gonna get these vehicles and know where our employees are in the city, what they're working, what they're doing, their schedule, their shift, with GPS? I mean, we're getting these laptops, well, what are they for? We're replacing them, but what are they for?
Their laptops?
You're correct. So he's saying you have desktops right now, we're replacing them with the Surface Pro.
Correct.
So they're gonna take them everywhere? Do they use them on?
So they can have that option to be mobile with them, or if they're going to another building, they're meeting in their conference room for their meetings, the DPW, does that. It's just that it's getting ready for the future of all the mobility that we're trying to allow,
So that's what
our
I'm trying to understand,
superintendents.
what kind of mobility they're gonna be using those Surface Pro on the street? Like, I mean, what kind of application, what kind of software they're using?
It's the same software they're using, today on their desktops. It's not anything, new with it. These are for the I'll say it's my bad word in saying supervisors, it's the superintendents, for them. Again, so that if they need to go to a different building to be on site somewhere, they have that ability and still can do, use their BSNA, use whatever services that they need that you normally would say, I have to go back to, my office. I gotta go back to my office to help not have to slow them down.
So right now, we have 6 desktop, each one has a desktop?
Actually, the building and maintenance has old Surface Pros, so this is going to replace their Surface Pros that they currently use right now.
Okay.
And the highway and water would replace their desktops with these Surface Pros.
I'm sorry, but this is for DPW, not building.
No, it says building and maintenance, and
No, this is DPW supervisors.
That's the title, Councilman, but it says the laptops are intended to be desktop replacement and allow the water, highway, and building and maintenance supervisors to move the
and it
rest.
should say superintendent, so I apologize. It shouldn't say supervisor,
So because-
superintendents.
I'm sorry, because 9J says building inspectors
Yep,
laptops.
yes, those are our building department inspectors, and then our building and maintenance.
So my question is that we're putting all this technology and spending all this money on these Surface Pros and everything, but we can't ever track our employees in the field.
Council Chair, we had a motion in front of the council, but you guys rejected it for GPS. So we did have that on the agenda.
Which one?
For GPS on every vehicle that city owns. But the council rejected
I
it.
don't remember that one.
That was about a year ago.
I
I mean, if
remember
you if you guys want, we'll put it back on the agenda.
Yeah, please bring it back. I remember that one.
So,
Are you done, Councilman?
no, my
Go ahead.
other question is that, for example, if there's a service order, a repair for something in the building or a resident's house, can these laptops tell you that when they arrived there, when they opened up the invoice, and when they left and they closed the invoice?
If if they have access to BSNA applications, yes, they would be able to, but these are for the superintendents, how they use them. So yes, this is to help us expand their capabilities. Can they do that now? No, but that's the whole point of this, so we could expand their capabilities with it. Yes.
Councilman, any more discussion?
just one quick.
Go ahead.
Expand the capabilities with these laptops.
Correct, because now they're mobile friendly, they don't have to.
Upgrade them.
Yeah, so we're not printing out potentially work orders, we're not, the superintendent's not having to go back to their desk, they can be wherever they're at, they have their capabilities to work.
Do they have cases? Do they come with cases to protect them, or?
Yes. Yep. They'll have rugged cases.
Okay, excellent. Any more discussion? Okay, let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to 9I, IT Director Cooper, Purchase and Payment Ordinance Officer Laptops. Do I have a motion?
Council Chair Pro Tem,
Go ahead, Councilman.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase of 4 Microsoft Surface Pro 9 laptops and keyboards from CDWG in the amount of $5,332.12 for the ordinance officers. Moreover, provided that the mayor also authorize any such payment as a necessary expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued from general ledger account 101-258-932-000.
Okay.
By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant and payment without prior authorization from the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with city charter section 8.9 as outlined in 9I.
Motion by Councilman Constant. Do I have a second?
I'll second it if the last sentence is removed.
I can remove that
Last sentence, okay.
last sentence.
Let's stop reading those last sentence, okay. Motion by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Council Pro Tem, Mr. Cooper, I have a question. With our ordinance officers, these tablets, are they going to be on the field writing tickets or putting all the data in when they go to a house with blight?
Yep.
Take a picture?
Yep, that's what they currently use with their old ones right now, and that's what this
Okay.
would do. Yep.
And can we attach GPS and time to the software that they use?
Well, they use BSNA, and that's not necessarily in BSNA itself. I can look at capabilities of doing GPS.
Can we amend the motion for it to add that?
I have no clue what kind of cost that's going to be, sir.
Then can we table these until I'm willing to put a resolution to add these? Because it's going to be cost,
I'm trying to put this in this year's budget, because I have the money this year. We table it too much for that time frame. I lose that money. So, but I can start to look at that. I can work with the mayor's office, because as he said about GPS for the vehicles.
Yeah.
With that, I can look at, this is I'll be honest, this is the first this has ever been requested of me,
I mean,
for
at the
this.
same
So I
time,
can.
this is just confused. Maybe the
Yeah,
director
that's
can add some
something
kind of
completely separate.
application where
Yeah.
it can.
But what I'm trying to say is, Council Pro Tem, is that if we're going to invest in these computers without $5,300 and they don't have that capability and we end up getting GPS with software that needs it, might have to be a completely new.
No, these are modern computers. It's going to be an application that would be installed with it, or it would have to be something that's attached to the vehicle itself and do it. So,
All right, any more discussion? Councilman, go ahead.
I don't know if this is possible, Madam Clerk, with all these motions that contain that language, can it be changed without going through a motion? I mean, on this particular one, it says, by doing so, the city council in authorizing any such warrant and payment without prior authorization by
We
city
took that
council.
off.
You
Councilman.
changed
I know, but what I'd like to have, on all of us say, by doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant or payment not to exceed that dollar amount, and that's it. Not to exceed that dollar amount. Because now we're, right to end, eliminate that whole without prior authorization by city council, eliminate that last part. And right after payment,
Well, that's what we did earlier,
any
Councilman.
such, I know, but it said on all of them, any such warrant and payment not to exceed 5,000 something, that's it.
No, that's what I said earlier, but
On
you
all of
said
them.
in case you don't spend that much money, what happens? Like if, in case he buys it for 5,000 now, what happens to the $300? So that was your concern.
No, well, yeah, I know, but I just want to, just eliminate that last, on all of the motions, can we do that? Eliminate without, where it says,
Well, that's exactly, it says the amount. We're not authorizing anything beyond that amount, so it's the same thing.
And you've amended every motion
Yeah.
yeah, so,
to,
Take
but I
off the-
mean, can we be consistent when we can put, like, right after it says warrant and payment, stop everything right there and just add not to exceed that amount right there?
The total
Because
amount that
without
was-
prior authorization.
you just want that out of there.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, without prior, what's that mean? Without prior authorization?
Means it's already been approved, they don't have to come
Prior.
back and.
Well, it says without prior authorization.
Because we already approved
With
it.
prior, it should say with prior authorization.
Council
I mean,
Chair.
it just doesn't sound, it just, this file
I
sounds.
mean, like I said,
I see it
Chair,
a
you
couple
could say
different ways.
subject, you could say subject to prior authorization, which means it's conditional upon it first being approved.
Well, just eliminate
Simple
it and
language.
put, we authorize warrant and payment not to exceed the $5,000, period.
Council Chair
Instead of
Pro
all
Tem.
that other mumbo jumbo. And what's charter, what's 8.9, what is
I
that?
had it up.
It's a section of the city charter.
Yeah, what is it though, what is it? Someone look it up real quick, 'cause it's in every one of these motions we're passing, anybody know what it is?
Here's what we can say, Chair Pro Tem.
1 second, Councilman, I'm sorry.
It could say, authorize any warrant and payment by the city council of the specific amount.
Would you
And
like
then
me
we'll
to read
leave
it to
out
you?
without prior authorization. That'll be fine.
Would you
Thank you,
like me to
Councilman.
read
Yeah,
it
go
to
ahead,
you?
Madam Clerk.
Okay. Section 8.9, warrants, how drawn shall not be drawn when. No money shall be drawn from the treasury except upon the warrant of the mayor and countersigned by either the comptroller or the city clerk. Every warrant shall specifically, or specify the fund from which it is payable and shall be paid from no other fund. No warrant shall be drawn upon the treasury after the fund from which it should be paid has been exhausted, and if such warrant shall be drawn, it shall be void. No warrant shall be issued until the same has been first authorized by the council, provided however that warrants may be issued for the payment of any necessary expense without prior, or, this is where it comes in, prior authorization of the council is authorized by the mayor. But the total amount of such warrants issued between any successive regular meeting of the council shall not exceed an amount as the council may from time to time establish. There's only one more paragraph. All liquidated accounts and demands against the city shall be received and audited by the comptroller, who shall enumerate them on the regular form prescribed by the council, and who, with the mayor, shall certify as to the correctness or incorrectness of the various amounts of said list. Each invoice shall be approved by the official incurring the expenditure. I think that last paragraph. That's what 8.9 says. I just read it.
I mean, if you can work on it with the chief of staff and maybe with Mr. Ferrin.
Yeah.
Because ultimately you are the approving the motion.
Okay.
Call for the question.
We're approving
Councilman
the
Constant, you
motion.
had something to add?
No.
We're approving all these 8.9 and no one even knew what
Right,
it was.
right.
Okay, any more discussion? Let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Moving to 9J, IT Director Cooper, purchase and payment, building inspector's laptop.
Council Chair.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase of 4 Microsoft Surface Pro 9 laptops and keyboards from CDWG in the amount of $5,332.12 for the building inspectors. Moreover, provide the mayor also authorize any such payment as necessary expense. The city council authorizes warrants to be issued from GL account 101-258-932-000 as outlined in 9J.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion? Director, so for the building inspectors, what happens to the tablet that they had before, the one they never used?
The building inspectors are using them for field inspection out there.
They are now?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, they're using them, and this is going to replace them because they're due to be replaced.
Okay. So are these going to have mobile internet, or they're not, they have to come back to the office to upload all the
The
inspections?
BNSA application that they use, field inspection, it was actually designed to sync in the morning. They go out and do their, put their notes in, do everything that they do, take pictures, they come back in, and it syncs again to put all the information into
So
it.
they have to come back to the office to be,
For it to
sync.
sync, it's designed that way by BNSA themselves. That's why they developed that program.
okay. Any more discussion, council members? I see none. Let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Moving to 9K, Parks and Recreation Director Sower, Richard A. Young Center, men's and women's saunas, contract execution. Do I have a motion?
Council Chair, Council Pro Tem.
Go ahead.
Move that Dearborn Heights City Council authorize the mayor and the city clerk to sign a contract for the construction of the men's and women's sauna at the Richard A. Young Center. Moreover, provide the mayor also to authorize such payment as a necessary expense. The city council authorizes warrants to be issued from GL account 101-692-981-000 for payments of these services as outlined in 9K.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Saab. Do I have a second?
Second,
Seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
do we know the total amount, the proposed amount?
Director?
It's about 63,000, but you guys voted on that the last council meeting to approve the bid. The contract just needed some updating.
What kind of updating?
I'm sorry?
What kind of updates in the contract? Like what?
The last council meeting, I had the bid award in it for
I understand
Allen.
you said there's some updates for the contract. What kind of-
Some of the language was missing the name of the company.
Any more discussion? Council members? Go ahead, Councilman.
Director, is this completely new on us?
This is completely new,
Two of them.
two of them.
So are they the same size?
Yes.
Same size?
Yep.
Are they the same wood, they look the same basically?
They're updated with better electrical. That was the issue that we had before, so it's pretty much the same except for, the update, the electrical has been updated to be able to accommodate the size of the sauna.
It's going to be the same type of heat source, like just the dry heat? or-
Yes.
not the-
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Director. Any
Council-
more discussions?
Yes.
Councilman?
I'm reviewing the contract. I honestly don't see an amount. There's no
There
amount.
should be.
Background, contract documents, article terms.
I don't have it with me,
Maybe.
but,
I have the motion from last meeting,
okay.
if you want.
Council Pro Tem, I was just looking that up, I have a quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
When do you plan on starting construction?
As soon as we get the contract approved, I've already been in contact with the contractor, and they said that they can start the work pretty soon because I want to make sure that it's out of this year's budget. So that's where I have the funds.
How long is it going to take to do it?
I would imagine, because it's like a kit type thing, as soon as they get it in. So I'm hoping a week, two at the tops.
It does shows the number, Councilman, Article 4. It's not to exceed $63,915.
See it, yeah.
Do you have it? Do
Yeah.
you want me to read last week's?
Yeah, it was in the
No,
contract.
no, it's in the
I just
contract.
didn't
I see it.
have
You got
it in
it?
front of me.
Any
It was
more
like
discussion?
70,000.
I see none. Let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Before we move forward, Madam Clerk, can we go back to the motion?
Whenever you're ready for it, you just have to remove it.
Are
from
you
the
guys
table.
ready?
Yeah.
That number?
Yes.
Are you ready?
That's 9A, right?
That's, you have the number?
That was comptroller. Was it 9C?
9C.
9C?
Yeah, the uniform.
The uniforms?
For the
Yes,
uniform, for the
yes.
amount. So you
Yeah.
want to make a motion to remove that item from the table because you tabled it?
Okay. Do I have a motion to bring it back to?
Yeah,
I put a motion to remove 9C from being tabled.
yes.
Second,
Second, we have a motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
And that's just to take, and then go ahead and just motion on to remove it from the table, and then you can make a motion on his item.
Do we need to vote on this motion to
Yes.
bring it back? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, so now you're back on that.
So now we need to put the motion again, and you have the number, sir?
Yes, sir.
For 9C?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
not to exceed is 210,000.
That was in a year.
Yes, sir. That's per contract year. For 50 employees, 50?
50?
50.
Okay. So not to exceed 210 per year?
Yes.
a lot of money.
Yeah, how many employees are currently, in this
Say
department?
50.
No, how many?
50,
How many are currently in there though?
50.
So we're going.
So we're, and in fact, if I can interrupt you, I do apologize. I think right now there are 46.
46?
But the number I gave you is based on 50 in case.
Budgeting for 50.
Yes, because we might have people that get hired and then later people leave and then, so I'm just using a good estimate of 50.
Council Pro Tem?
Go ahead, Council.
Are these, now say if we get, 10, size 5 or, size 10 uniforms, and those people resign, retire, are they reusable, or are the uniforms just rented?
Yeah, they're rented
So it
and
doesn't
as the
matter
and as the
come in?
people get employed, if you and I both go and get employed, we'll have uniforms that fit us.
Okay.
And then if I leave and he joins, he'll get a uniform that fit him.
So it's not for a specific uniform, it's just.
It's per
with a
person.
uniform.
Yeah, we gave material type, shirt design, logoed with the embroidery on it, and then the sizes can vary.
Are they a designer type, like Carhartt or something like that, or,
Most of them are not.
no, are they?
The only thing that maybe is the jacket.
Jacket?
Yeah, these were middle, I think we called them middle of the road material and workmanship.
But they do, they never wear out, right? They'll always replace them.
They always replace, every week.
Without any cost, say if some guy gets this all torn up,
The only time there's additional cost is if something is lost.
it's lost.
Yeah. I think on the agreement, it says lost, no, it says lost and damaged. So if there's something where it's ripped in half, we have to replace it.
So if they rip a button off, what happens then, or something? And we pay for a button, or
I didn't ask about a button, I apologize.
a couple buttons, or you rip?
I asked about sleeves getting ripped off, things getting cut because they're out in the field.
Yeah.
So I asked about those type of things. I didn't ask about a button. I
Council Chair.
apologize.
Council Chair.
Go ahead.
We do have provisions in the contract that address any damage to material and any wear and tear. Because I think that when an employee leaves, there's a condition they have to turn that uniform in.
Correct.
And then they have to, and then they'll be issued, whatever, we put a deposit on everything, and anything that's damaged is in the contract to be replaced or repaired.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman. You're set, all set?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Go ahead, Councilman.
So I have a question. I just did the math on this. It falls down to about $4,200 an employee, about $80 a week. What was their allowance that we were giving them in the contract?
I do not recall. Because that contract had already been changed before I got here.
Mr. Mayor, do you recall what was their allowance before?
Council Chair, Walter.
Go ahead.
I actually don't, but one of the things that we talked about is like people actually using the money that was allotted for the uniform. So this is actually also requested by the employees that they want, they have to go to an entity to supply them with the uniform and just like have everything done, the servicing of the uniform, and they get new uniform. So I don't recall, but I know it was good for the city and also the employees.
Are you all set, Councilman?
Yes.
That also,
Go ahead.
that also includes the rugs,
I'm sorry? Yes.
the rugs, right?
Yes,
How
it
many are
does.
there? How many
The rugs are included. I don't think I saw that.
The rugs are in there.
How many?
I don't think I
rugs,
saw
a few of them, or-
the quantity.
Like how many?
Yeah, I don't think I saw that in there. It's not in here.
Mr. Farina, do you remember seeing that in the contract?
Let me see. We can look at it. It's in there.
I'd have to pull up the contract, I don't have it here, but I'll
Is
look
it
at it.
substantial,
I
like
can also
20 or
get-
30 or 2 or 3?
It's only the DPW.
Hold on, let me see. It's in there.
I don't know what DPW needs, I just know that I follow with the controller, I just make sure the language protects us. So,
So most of, what I'm getting at, most of this cost is for the uniform, and very little for the rugs, more than likely, right?
Yes. Yeah,
So this-
the uniforms was the big piece.
So it is $4,000 a person. Yeah.
And are the mats replaced every weekly or
Yes, weekly.
any more discussions, questions, council members?
Council Chair, we can vote on this, but I have something to say about DPW as soon as we vote, you know.
Okay, let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Council Pro Tem?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Now that we're at
You know what?
DPW,
I'm sorry, Council Pro Tem, I don't know if we ever revisited the motion.
We did, we brought it
You brought
back.
it back to the table
Yeah.
and approved that, but you didn't motion
We gave the
to,
number, the two.
to
The nine-
approve an amount not
You
to
want him to say
exceed.
it again? Okay.
Read the whole thing?
Read again, add the number to it, please.
In an amount not to exceed $210, right, or 200.
You want me to
Yearly.
read the whole motion over?
$210,000.
The whole entire motion?
Yes.
Okay. I move that the Dearborn Heights, 9C, I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the customer service agreement between the City of Dearborn Heights and UniFirst Corporation. UniFirst Corporation will provide weekly uniforms and floor mat rentals for DPW workers. The uniforms will have the City of Dearborn Heights emblem. Further authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the agreement, and provided the mayor also authorize any such payment as a necessary expense,
Not to exceed
didn't want that.
210,000.
not to exceed 210,000
Yearly.
Exactly.
a year, per year, at 50 employees, as outlined in 9C.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant.
discussion.
More discussion?
Yeah, just one thing, what about the boots? Is that included, their boots?
No.
Are they, do they still have an allowance? They are included, the boots are included?
So in this specific contract, the boots are not included, but they are included in the employee agreement, the contract. And we're still working on identifying the source of the boots.
That's gonna be an allowance?
I thought we were supposed to be buying them. Last time I talked to Director Conrad, we were buying those boots. Like the city was buying them, not the employees buying them.
Okay.
And they are high visibility jackets, correct? I mean, they like.
With the highlighter, yellow, yeah.
I mean, not to knock our guys, because they bust their butts all the time, but at one time I seen these guys working on the side of the road, and one guy was wearing hunter camouflage. You know, I mean, I go, he doesn't want to be seen, you know, I mean, it was just, so we should, this is something that we should require that they wear. You know, I mean, by all OSHA standards, I think they, you know, basically, they should be wearing safety glasses probably, you know, and I don't know if they're issued safety glasses or not, but, I mean, that's only protects them and us. God forbid they get some kind of eye injury or something like that, and then if it happens, that could be a liability to the city also.
Well, now they have those city jackets.
I mean, they got eyeglasses too, the safety glasses.
That's between the administration and.
Well, it should,
whatever they-
yeah, I know, it should be something that's.
Whatever they agree
I've worked
on.
in the construction business for 40 years, and you can't step out of your car in the parking lot until you put your safety glasses on, you know.
Thank
But
you,
anyway,
Councilman.
okay.
Any more discussion? Let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, the one, Council Pro Tem? Speaking of the DPW, is the Director Conrad or someone can speak about the employee lounge at the DPW yard?
I think he's on vacation.
Is it?
Yeah,
He's not on.
Nah, he's on vacation.
Who can talk about the DPW employee lounge? Give us an update on it.
Mr. D is not here anymore, and,
Is there one, Mr. Blackburn, are you aware of any employee lounge that's being worked on yet in the DPW area?
I don't know if he's I think he's in his capacity as a resident here, no, not a city employee.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, Mariana, do you have any? No? Okay.
No what?
She doesn't have any info.
Is it done?
Well, why don't you email Mr. D?
I will,
or Mr.
yeah, okay.
Okay, moving on.
I'll just go by and look at it tomorrow.
11, ordinances and resolutions. Resolution of the Council of the City of Dearborn Heights, Michigan, adopting an operating budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council adopt the resolution of Council of the City of Dearborn Heights, Michigan, adopting an operating budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025, and said tax levy shall be composed of the constituent rates for the purposes and with estimated yields described as follows, based on an aggregate of taxable assessed values of $1,764,133,175 for the city of Dearborn Heights, or as may be subsequently certified and amended, net of tax increment capture. Further, consistent with City Charter Section 4.9A, the compensation of each city employee or officer shall be within the limits and in accordance with the plan set forth in the personnel page of the budget applicable to the employee or officer, such that the compensation, salary, or wages of the employee or officer shall not exceed the amount stated for the employee or officer in the personnel page applicable to the employee or officer. B, the compensation, salary, or wages of each employee or officer whose position is exempt for purposes of paying overtime shall only be paid on a proportional basis during the fiscal year. And C, the compensation, salary, or wages of each employee or officer whose position is not exempt for purposes of paying overtime pay shall be paid on a proportional basis during the fiscal year, except as may be necessary to comply with any collective bargaining agreement or overtime law applicable to that employee or officer as outlined in 11A.
A motion by Councilman Constant. Do I have a second? Okay, I'll second for discussion. Madam Clerk, do we have the final number from Michelle? Did she email you?
Council Pro,
Okay.
Council Pro Tem, I have a question. So are we reading one of the two or both?
I think both, because I think this is the,
One for the budget, one for the tax levy. They're two separate. So if the budget is not approved, you can approve the tax levy to be collected.
Council Chair.
Councilman?
Just while we're waiting, and I want to point out to everyone this, our aggregate taxable assessed value of $1,764,000,000, that's not the amount of the tax or anything, that's the total property values in the city.
Correct.
And the property values are up. The federal government, amongst others, has pumped a lot of extra money into the economy. So this situation, I'm sure, won't last. I'm sure pretty sure that the property values, unfortunately, will be going down.
Well, still the market, Councilman, is still in demand with shortage of homes, so.
Yeah, the
I don't see it in the
inventory's
near
down.
future going down. Well,
I saw our former council chairman, Dave Abdullah, with his son, driving in his Porsche to a newly built home on
I
Fairwood.
think the market's still good. Is Michelle on or? not yet?
I'm here.
Hi, Michelle. So do we have the final number for the budget? I mean, with the changes that we discussed earlier in study session?
Yes, I did send those to the clerk, so she has those. And you do have now a surplus this year of $9,628.
$9,628.
Yes.
And this is with adding the third ordinance officer, correct?
That will add a third ordinance officer and take away the confidential secretary. In addition, you took $1,000 away from travel and education for emergency management. And you added 5,000, so basically you took only 10,000 away from media services for council.
Okay.
And that is it.
Okay, any more council members? So our budget for this upcoming year would have a surplus of $9,628. We do need to approve the budget before the end of this month. Any more discussion?
Yes.
Councilman?
Council Pro Tem, I asked early on when we had these budget meetings that we wanted a grant writer. We never got that either. Just putting it out there.
Thank you, Councilman. We do need a lot of stuff, but we need the money too. I agree with this. I did mention that a couple of years ago, but was never taken in consideration. Any more discussion?
Council Chair Pro Tem?
Go ahead, Councilman.
We've spent a fair amount of time on this, and very few things are perfect. The issue is, and now we have a balanced budget, not using the American Recovery Act money, but the issue is, what's the alternative? We could, add this, subtract that, but, we've worked on it, and I think it's a good budget.
Thank you, Councilman. I agree. I guess that's the only way to move forward with city services. Any more discussion from council members? Go ahead.
The new resolution that I passed out, it's on the second page.
City page.
It's on the second page.
Thank you.
I was looking at the big budget, the 65 page. It's on the second page.
You're talking about this?
Yes, second page where it says 60,710,601. And then below that, it'll say total expenditure appropriation, and then below that is the estimated ending restricted fund balance, and then the estimated ending unrestricted fund balance.
Mm-hmm. The 8,418,000, that's the one you're
I
talking about?
think Michelle hits, I was looking.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any more discussion? Shall we take this to a vote? I see none. Whoever is in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Whoever oppose?
No.
Say no. Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Robert Constant,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
No?
Hassan Ahmad,
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
No.
Motion tied, so it's defeated.
Should we do more discussion, or is there something you guys looking for, or?
Well, Council,
Go ahead.
I want to talk to the departments about this reduced overtime and make sure that they're comfortable with that. There's some big chunks of money there, and I know there's 250,000 of the one, but I want to make sure that, talk to each one of these departments. And I've already spoke to a couple, and they're not happy with the cuts.
Nobody can be happy with the cuts, but
Yeah, but some people are getting hit a lot worse than other departments on this. And, as, I think we can, have it ready again for the next meeting, and hopefully, my questions could be answered.
Yeah.
Council Pro Tem.
Councilman?
So, again, though this budget may show a $6,000 or $8,000 or $9,000 surplus, I still believe there's a lot of errors to it. To look deeper, and also having an in-house grant writer will save us hundreds of thousands of dollars on the budget, and we're stuck to one company. But we hire every other position, but except moving the city forward, getting money into the city in-house.
I agree.
Council-
I think we need
Council Chair?
lobbyists in Lansing too. Go ahead, Mayor.
You guys can add it, you should have added it before, but you guys can add it and just see how much it would be for the next, you guys amend it right now and add one position to pass the budget.
Council Chair?
Go ahead, Councilman.
Well, I know from just prior experience, and our former council chair, Elizabeth Agers, that's what she did mainly for Wayne State, was a grant writer. Usually someone within that department with knowledge about the particular area, they write the grant. Now, should we have somebody that will help finalize it, someone, specifically, that might not be a bad idea. But for requests for grants, which are more and more technical, like for a police grant, that has to come from someone in the police department that has the knowledge and the expertise and the numbers and so forth. So as far as just a separate position for that, I don't know if that'll work.
I mean, usually, Councilman, when there's a grant writer, they're a specialist, so they should be familiar with any department.
And,
Council,
I'm sorry.
And they can get the information, I suppose, from
Yeah,
that department.
Correct. Councilman? Go ahead.
I'm not done, Council.
thank you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll speak after.
Oh, well, I
Mr.
just
Johnson.
want to let everybody know that the probably, I'm not putting anybody down in the city that writes grants, but probably our best grant writer is retiring. You know, we're going to lose her, and she's, you know, she works for the fire department.
She did retire.
Yeah, she did retire.
Yeah, last year.
So, well, I mean, we lost the
Or this
best
year, sorry.
grant writer we had, and I don't know who's picking up the slack there, but I mean, I'm sure a grant writer could make their salary up in one grant. You know,
You know, are you done, Councilman?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
So my proposal would be that if we hire an in-house grant writer within 30 days and get rid of the scout funding, it's called. I believe we have through Plant Moran. Eliminate that through the city.
Well, we need, I think, some numbers too, to see how much that's gonna cost.
It's gonna be way cheaper than what we're
No, I mean,
paying
if you wanna add it to the budget,
scout
I mean,
fund.
What was that last? Just before we move on, I see Council Chair Mobile and I hope he's feeling better. Can we unmute him?
Scout fund.
Madam Clerk?
Pay them per grant.
Okay. Scout fund.
Council Chair, are you there?
Hold on one second here.
Please wear a mask.
You moved around. Okay.
Yeah,
Council Chair?
yeah. Council Chair Pro Tem, you guys are doing a great job today. Great job for all you guys. I just want to speak a little bit about the grant writer. If we were to budget for it, keep in mind this is a fluid budget. We can always amend it. I think what you want to do first is put a resolution so that the administration knows to go out, make sure that this person is created through a department head. That position is now being approved by the council, and then we can go out and hire somebody. We want to make sure that we go through the right proper steps. We don't want to just have this position and then fund this position and we don't go through the proper steps because we won't be following the charter.
Thank you, Council Chair. I hope you're feeling better. Mayor, can we look into this to see, like, what's the steps to hire somebody in-house? Go ahead, Mayor, please.
So we would have to see if that person has to be civil service
Mhm.
or like how we're gonna bring him in as what level.
Okay.
We can look into it.
Please, can you check and
And,
let us know
we have
before
to
the
look
next
at-
meeting so we can maybe add something before?
Yeah, we also have to look at the budgeting the salary to see how much it would be for a person with that much experience with the current entity that we're using.
Okay, so we'll be awaiting your instruction. I guess the budget did not pass. I guess we move on to 11B, resolution adopting the fiscal year 2024, 2025 tax levy. Do I have a motion?
Council Pro Tem, that won't pass if 11A passed, didn't pass, right?
No, the tax levy, you can pass it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they can start collecting the money.
Council Chair,
Go ahead, Councilman.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council adopt the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025 tax levy, which shall be composed of the constituent rates for purposes and with estimated yields described as follows based on an aggregate of taxable value of $1,764,133,175 for the city of Dearborn Heights, or may be subsequently certified and amended net of tax increment capture as outlined in 11B.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. No, 12, new business license renewal, Automania LLC.
Council Chair.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the business license renewal for Automania LLC at 22120 Van Born as outlined in 13A.
Motion by Councilman Constant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Wenzel. Discussion?
Yes.
Council Chair Pro Tem.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Just quickly, I'll mention that I did talk to Councilwoman Breyer, who went out to the business and says there are fewer cars and there's a route for ingress and egress, and some improvements have been made. And there was some impediment to making further improvements that have been taken care of, so the owner's working on it.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam Clerk, is Director Dishroom on? Maybe we can hear from him if he's satisfied with the condition. Director?
Can you hear me,
Yes, Director.
Council? Pro
Yes,
Tem?
yes. Go ahead, sir.
I'm okay with the status of that one.
Have all the issues been satisfied?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Councilman Saab, did you have something to say?
Yes. Are all ordinance violations, all inspections, everything satisfactory?
Director, that was a question for you.
We wouldn't go through, we wouldn't inspect the property. That would be the building department, if that's what you're referring to, going through the building itself. But currently, I am satisfied with everything because we have a process in place to vet these businesses before they come before you. And I think we're kind of getting away from that. So that's one of the things that I want to say it concerns me, but it seems like we're going in that direction. So we have a process in place with an ordinance that specifically spells out what's supposed to be done in advance of these approvals. I think we're kind of getting away from that.
Thank you, Director. Any more discussion?
You're welcome.
Council Pro Tem?
Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, Director, you stated that, you feel we're getting away from the proper procedures in approving licenses. I agree with you 100% because just, one that we a couple months ago we found out there was a lot of, once we went and inspected it, there was a lot of violations there. What recourse do we have if we approve a license and then, say, for X, ABC, whatever, and then a month down, they don't comply with a lot of the ordinances, do we have the ability to revoke the license or put it on hold? Just because someone gets their property up and looking good when it's time for license renewal, and then, they get it, and then they go back to their old bad habits again.
Yes, there is provisions in there that would certainly involve violations, court appearances, and then that would also involve corporation counsel in that as well. If you wanted to suspend or revoke a license, there are provisions in the ordinance that would allow that as well if there are continued violations that are not fixed or addressed.
Well,
properties.
my suggestion is, a business that's in Dearborn Heights, they should be aware of all of the ordinances that they have to abide by. And if they're issued a license and they don't abide and they break the rules, they shouldn't be warned. They should just have their business closed for 3 days or 5 days. They know the rules, and and just because they get everything in line when they're up for renewal, and for someone to revoke their license, sounds like it's going to court. That sounds like a lengthy process. And this is something that you got to slap them on the wrist really hard the first time. They don't abide by the ordinances because everyone knows a lot of these businesses a lot of them don't live in Dearborn Heights. They come in Dearborn Heights. They're using Dearborn Heights taxpayers' money as their business, and they should be abiding 100% and not have to be warned. So we should have. I don't know the procedure, if it has to be an ordinance or something where, no warning. You break the rules, you pay the price right away. That's the way it should be for all of our ordinance, that, you know, our even our residents, cutting grass and everything. Have you been aware or contacted by the administration or something about doing something about fines for, you know, businesses and homeowners for violating ordinances? Is that something that's going on right now behind the scenes?
No. Well, we had raised the fines last year, if you remember, for ordinance violations. We raised all of them a standard $50 for the different sets that we have. You can certainly have that addressed again. I'd certainly encourage that because it's a deterrent for people. And our fines are probably a little bit lower than most, and they hadn't been raised in, I think it was about 20 years. We figured since the municipal civil infraction fines have been raised. So I'm certainly all about that. But you have to remember too, we always try to warn people in advance of any type of civil and municipal civil infraction we give them. We try to do that to be fair across the board. In some cases, we're more aggressive than others, but generally we try to make people aware, residents as well as businesses, before we issue a ticket.
Council Chair, in response to to Councilman Wenzel's question, we're looking at redoing the blight ordinance, so we don't go through like a three-step process, as Councilman correctly said. It takes too long. And that's the process in place now. We want to hit them, it's a $500 fine right away, and it goes and get it out, get it done. We're looking at the certificate of occupancy ordinance to change it, even if have people come down to the buildings department, do it online instead of coming down to the buildings department. So we're looking at 4 ordinance provisions that we're working on currently to amend, especially with the blight issues, which we take seriously. And Mr. DeShroon's in my ear every day, you know, Roger, we got this property. We need to get the ordinance changed so we don't delay this anymore before the summer's over. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think we should call for a study session. And I mean, I would like to know what the fines are. I have no idea. I mean, you know, there's grass cutting, you know, what about a fine where people keep their trash cans in front of their house constantly, or keep them out by the curb all week? I mean, there's a guy down the street from me. He keeps his garbage cans by the curb all week. And I've got a call all the time, ordinance, and they come out and they talk to the guy, and he drags them in, but he sets them right on the side of his house, and, you know, and then he's out there again, and then garbage day comes, like today's garbage day for my area, and he's just gonna leave them there, and he takes his trash bags out to the street, dumps them and then walks back into his house, and that's where he keeps his trash cans until he's warned. I mean, what's the fine for that? I mean, we should, like I say, we need ordinance, we need to revamp our ordinance department. And obviously, Director Dishroom isn't really privy to what's going on here with these little things that Roger was just talking about, because I asked him if there was anything going on. He said no. So, I mean, that concerns me right there. That, you know, the director is not involved with the goings on about these fines and stuff like that.
Councilman Wenzel?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Director.
Like I just said, we had just raised all the fines recently. I talk to Roger every single day about the fines, about the grass ordinance. That's one of the things that's been on our radar recently because of the duration that we have to wait before we can go and cut these properties. Councilman Saab has been vocal about that as well. He's aware of it. He would like to have that changed as well to shorten the duration. The changing of the fines is not something that I control, but I'm all for it. That's something that the Corporation Council would have to change, and you guys would have to agree to.
Thank you, Director. I think we need to talk to Council Chair to set up a study session so we can discuss this further.
Can the director just give me and the residents the procedure for a grass issue when someone has tall grass? Can you walk through the process?
Yeah, really quickly. What we do is we issue a 7-day notice. If we get a notice or a complaint on a property, we'll go out there, we'll issue a notice if the grass is over 6 inches. post a notice on the property. We'll subsequently send a letter to the owner of the property as well. They have 7 days to cut it, to get it below 6 inches. If the contractor comes out on the 8th day and it's over 6 inches, then the contractor will cut it and they will get a bill for it. The resident or business will get a bill for it.
You think 7 days is too long?
Council Chair, Mr. Pro Tem, in response to Mr. Wenzel's, we also, and Mr. Wenzel,
Director.
Director Deshrew, we've looked at Lincoln Park and identified Lincoln Park's procedures as well as Allen Park, and we like what so we're trying to incorporate what they have, including the water bills and how they go after people with delinquent water bills, tenants, and things like that. So those are some things that we've been in discussion of. We'd like to have it finalized within the next week or so. But to have the language, and yes, we're adopting other cities, but those cities are effective and they get the job done. And we've talked with a number of property owners, both in our city and in those cities, and see what works and what doesn't work.
Thank you, Mr. Farina. Whenever you guys finalize that, let's put it to a study session. So
Yeah, I'd like to.
Council Pro Tem, I have something to add quickly.
Go ahead, Councilman.
The problem is, Councilman Winslow, as much as you talk, as much as you say, things are gonna take 5 years to do. $50 here and $25 there is not gonna change people's minds. Going to somebody's house whose grass is 1 foot tall, having to wait 8 days to get it cut, it's gonna be 2 feet. It beats the purpose. The city of Dearborn comes out, issues you a ticket, before you even see the ticket, the grass is cut. You shouldn't be giving people leniency and, like, we're begging them to do something. They're not gonna do it, cut it and put it on their taxes.
Thank you, Councilman. We'll make sure that the council chair to set up a study session soon.
Real soon.
Madam Clerk, would you let them know, please? Okay, let's take this to a vote. Business license renewal, R.O. Manny LLC. Whoever is in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 13B, business license renewal, Go to Morris City LLC. Do I have a motion, please?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the business license renewal for Go To Auto LLC at 2955 South Beach Daily as outlined in 13B.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Yes, the building department, I know they had some issue with building. Did they take care of it? Rick?
With the building department or with the ordinance
It
department?
was building.
What can I?
It was the last time we asked for.
I think it was ordinance, not building.
Was it last week, last meeting, was it
Yeah, it
ordinance
was
or building?
ordinance. Director Digital, all ordinance.
Okay.
Director.
It was ordinance, not
Yeah,
the building
yeah,
department.
thank you,
The
thank
building
you.
department didn't have any problems with them.
All right.
Thank you, Rick. Director Distrom, are we good with Go to Morris City LLC?
They have an issue with the building. I would say
Yes or no?
that's fine. Yeah, yes, go
No,
ahead.
And what is the issue? Is it a safety issue? What is it?
I would prefer not to discuss that in a public forum. I'm not sure if, because we are issuing tickets. I'm not sure how Corporation Council would feel about that.
I think we can approve it subject to any condition that you have that you say, but he's saying that there's anything that there's been remedied. Is that correct?
No, it hasn't been.
Director?
There is a pending issue with that particular business.
Okay, if there's a pending issue, then
That's-
you want us to change your motion to table it?
Yes,
Not table, if you deny it.
deny it. That's what the
This is,
resolution we put forward
Council
does.
Pro Tem, this company, this business hasn't had a license for several months. I mean, their license expired several months ago and they're just applying for a license now. I mean, I don't know how that works. I mean, we got a list from the clerk about, just so the residents know, I've been looking at this, there's a list and it's, it's like, 100? I don't know.
I understand, but that list was
Companies
shared
that
by
don't have
the,
business license in the city of Dearborn Heights.
That's
And
council.
they're one of them.
that's a list that's been shared by the ordinance department and they're taking care of it. Let's deal with 13B right now. So we're not renewing it because have some issues, correct? You want to change your motion?
Yes.
to deny it?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 13C, business license renewal, Connect Auto Sales LLC.
Council Chair,
Go ahead,
I move
Councilman.
that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the business license renewal for Connect Auto Sales LLC at 4413 South Dearborn, South Beach Daily as outlined in 13C.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any
Mis-
discussion?
Yes, Mr. Dishroom, is there any issues with this business pending?
No, they're fine.
Water bill, taxes, everything's current, clerk?
Yeah, that's.
Everything's good?
backup.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 13D, business license application, Cars R Us Auto Sales LLC.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the business license application,
Cars R Us.
Cars R Us Auto LLC at 8230 North Telegraph, which represents a transfer of ownership of an existing car lot as outlined in 13D.
Second.
Council,
Motion by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
so this is a new dealership?
It's actually.
No, this is a. but
It's
an-
been an existing dealership. That's always, that location has always been a used car dealership.
And how long
It's just a
have-
new owner.
How long has this owner been there without a license?
This is a new application.
It's transfer of ownership, so somebody bought it.
It's representing. He had to go through the whole C of O, so he had to do, I don't know how long he started that with the building. So it didn't interfere with your new resolution. I can,
Director Distrow, are we good with this one?
Yes.
Okay. Any more discussion, council members?
Clerk, everything's good with her too?
with this one, yes, yes. He applied, through us, he applied on May 22nd.
Okay.
Okay, and I don't know when the C of O was issued on May 22nd, so.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Council- You're welcome.
Council Saba, you all set?
Yes.
Councilman?
Thank
Dodd?
you. When was the last time this business, this address had a license?
I have to see if I can look it up. It was a used car dealership, though. Go ahead and see if I can look it up.
But you cannot penalize the new owner with whatever did.
Well, I mean, if its license expired,
Yeah, but
then this is a new license, they're applying for a new license, and then,
But it was an existing car dealer.
well, it doesn't matter, I mean, just because the building was existing.
We're not adding, I
Yeah.
mean, I think,
Yeah, I mean, we're not approving any new licenses, that was my interpretation. Not giving out any new licenses regardless, I mean, there's several buildings in Dearborn Heights that used to be car dealerships. Just because they were, in the past, they were a used car dealership, doesn't mean you're gonna grant them licenses.
thank you, Councilman. Any more discussion?
Well, I'm waiting, she's gonna answer me, when was the last time this building was licensed for used cars?
well, you'll have to take a minute, my software is
Has it been a
updating.
while, though, it's been years?
I don't think years.
A while?
I don't think it years. It's updated,
Okay.
so it depends on how long it takes.
Well, I mean, this is against what we're talking about, new license, this is a new
All right.
business license.
I think the resolution for
Oh,
new
definition.
businesses, like different, like new location for the business, not
Right.
something grandfathered in.
This is
Correct,
something that was
Councilman?
That's
already
correct.
in the queue is,
So this is already
King for
existing.
Curry said.
That's correct,
Yeah.
Council Chair.
So let's take this to a vote,
What's the
please.
license, though, we're talking about, not the building?
It's a transfer of the license, the dealer
Yeah,
license.
not-
So it's an existing license.
It's not, there's no license there, though, they don't have a license to transfer.
But it's always been a used.
The state license.
Yeah.
It's still updated.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we are issuing a new license. We're transferring a license that doesn't exist. As far as, the guy, his license expired. This doesn't have a current license for this building to be a used car lot, car auto
It's still
sales.
updated. It says 17.
So how can we
It's
grant
amended.
this just because, this just goes back to the same thing that happened at Donovan Hall. You know, the guy thought he was buying something that, okay, well, we made a mistake, so we're gonna give it to you anyway. We gotta stick by our guns here. Not
Counsel?
issue any new, auto sale licenses. Period.
You all set, Councilman? So I can move on? Go ahead,
Council
Councilman
Pro Tem, I
Saab.
have a question. So is this a transfer of ownership from the old owner to the new owner, or is this guy just transferring his license from another location in Dearborn Heights?
No, it's,
Same location.
I'm gonna look at the address.
I've seen this name before. I think it came before us last time, correct?
This is, by issuing this is exactly what we're against. This is a new license. It doesn't exist now. Just because there was a loophole, I'm sorry, we let it lapse, well, it's not our problem. Or I'm buying a building that used to be a used car lot, I'm sorry. I mean, if that was your dream in Dearborn Heights, people have all kinds of dreams. I mean, it's.
Now I'm waiting for it to open.
And you said they submitted May 22nd? What was your resolution, 28? Yeah.
Yes.
Even it's before. I will just take this to a vote, please. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
I don't believe this.
Hold on 1 second. And,
Want to use car lot, come to Dearborn Heights. They'll pass it.
no, that's not it. Yeah, they had a current, they did have the old
They had the
use, they
license?
had a current one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay, let me do the roll call, I'm so sorry.
When did they have it?
It's been, they've had it all along. I'm
No,
looking
that's
from
right. I've seen this-
2014.
I've seen this name before.
Since
And it's existing right
2014.
now? It's
And I'm looking to see when. Is it the same one? Hold on 1 second, guys. We're both looking at it. Close this out, and I'm trying to let people in. Yeah, this dealership has been there, and I'm sorry, and there, it looks like their license expired 5/29 of '24. The old business, which was La Marina Auto Sales.
So what are they doing? They're
And I guess, I don't know.
they're selling
I
the
don't know. I can
business,
only
or-
tell you, no. They're a new owner.
Yeah, they
The
sold-
logistics of it, I don't know. I just can tell you what's on the application, which y'all received.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please
you.
take roll call.
Okay. This is for, there's our us, right? Hassan Ahmad,
Yes.
Robert Constant,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
No.
Hassan Saab.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-1.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to members of the public, comments from city council members. I do have a letter here from Janet Lucas. She's the secretary at the police department. Rest in peace, Captain David Sipinko. It is with deep sadness that Janet shared the passing of retired Captain David Sipinko. Captain Sipinko passed away after a brief illness on June 7, 2024. Captain Sipinko was hired in the 1960s and served in various capacities with the Dearborn Heights Police Department, from K-9 officer, SWAT team, range officer, road patrol sergeant, shift lieutenant, and captain of administrative services upon his retirement in the early 90s. After retiring from the department, he worked in executive protection at Ford Motor Company. Janet knew Captain Sipinko and his family and had the pleasure to work with his son, Captain Jeffrey Sipinko, who also retired from Dearborn Heights Police Department as an investigative bureau captain, following closely in his father's footsteps. David will be remembered as a well-respected officer, leader, and family man. Godspeed, Captain Sipinko. Thank you for your service and dedication to the Dearborn Heights Police Department. Please, I would like to take a moment of silence for Captain David Sipinko. Thank you. My condolences to the family, to the whole police department, to Janet Lucas. I also would like to wish everyone happy Juneteenth. Will be on June 19th. Juneteenth has become a day to commemorate the end of slavery in America, despite the fact that President Abraham Lincoln proclamation was issued more than 2 years earlier on June 1st, 1863. Also, this coming Sunday would be Eid al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice. It's the second of the two main holidays celebrated in Islam. It honors the willingness of Prophet Abraham in his act of obedience to God. It is the day where believers attending pilgrimage sacrifice lamb to be distributed to poor families. So I'd like to wish everybody observing a happy Eid Adha. Also, this coming Sunday, it's Father's Day. I'd like to wish all the amazing fathers, especially the one who sits here on next to me, a happy Father's Day. You guys are great, and have a blessed and safe rest of the week. Council members, any
Thank you,
comments?
Council Chair.
Please go
Council
ahead.
Chair,
Please go ahead.
just to echo what the Council Chair Pro Tem said about Officer Sapinko and his family, remember him well and thank him for his service. We have Juneteenth coming up, I think it's Thursday, and also I call it the second Eid, or the, how do you pronounce
Wednesday.
it, Council
Wednesday.
Chair? Wish our residents that so observe happy Eid. We have the 4th of July coming up. Everyone keep in mind who's shooting off fireworks, their neighbors and their neighbors' pets. These neighborhoods, the houses are close together, and remember to use the fireworks if they use them safely, and consider it to their neighbors. And also, happy Father's Day to my 98-year-old father and all the fathers here in Dearborn Heights.
Thank you, Councilman. Any Councilman?
Yes,
Top?
Councilman Pro Tem. First of all, condolences go out to Officer Sapinko's family. Thank him for his service in Dearborn Heights. I want to wish everybody Eid al-Adha this coming week. Adha. For better people to understand it.
Even he messed it up.
So, and I also want to wish everybody happy Father's Day this weekend. Also, we had a wonderful event this past week, and with Councilman Winslow, it was honestly an unbelievable event. I was so glad to be a part of it. So many people showed up, so many sponsors came out in support. And I just want to say, man, it was a great time. The golf course is looking amazing. And tell everybody it's a good organization and foundation to be involved in and help out. And honestly, thank you for throwing that event. It was a great event.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Winslow?
Thank you, Council Pro Tem. Yeah, thank you to everyone that helped with the event this past weekend, showing up, and I really respect you, all you guys that came out and supported the family. It was a great event. The weather was great. Enough about that. I mean, it turned out great. I mean, it was phenomenal. And then, this Sunday is a religious holiday. I understand that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm wishing all you that celebrate it have a great time. And it is, and Father's Day also. Father's Day is a day. My kids are already planning some secret stuff for Father's Day. It is pretty cool to have. If you have a father still living, take the time, because I know my dad passed away, and I still wish I could talk to him about things. He taught me so much, and I'm sure every person's, male and female, their father meant a lot to them, and they're growing up, and this basically the way they are now because of their parents and their fathers. And it's summer vacation. A lot of them are already out of school, and some of them, this is their last week, and it's a time where the kids have a lot of time on their hands. And I encourage all the parents out there to take the little effort. I know it's hard, and you just rather throw them that iPhone or a tablet and play games on it all summer and all morning long. But take a little time to maybe just do one day a week, have an activity for those kids to do. Get up regular 8 o'clock in the morning, have them do something in the yard or something to do as a family. A great thing would be consult our library website, and they do all kinds of things throughout the summer. And I've got a thing we're starting out with Jamie's kid. We reorganize as Family Fun, where we do a lot of things. And I'm kind of reinventing the wheel a little bit with Mike, the library director, because he does a lot of stuff. And I'm sure he's going to speak on that. And so I'll let him talk about things. I'm sure he's got summer programs. But do something one day a week, do something with your kids instead of letting them just be on video games or something like that. We don't even play video games at my house, very little. But, and this past weekend, the Summerfest, unfortunately, I was only there for like an hour. I had all kind of stuff. My family was there for, 3 different days actually, and they really enjoyed it. There was a couple of little glitches, the weather, and then you always get these kids that are, hassling other kids, but you're gonna get that anywhere. But overall, it was everybody I talked to was a great success, and everyone had a good time. I'm sure our director's gonna speak a little bit about that. Tell us all the money we made. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Yeah, actually, I attended Summerfest too. It was an amazing event. Thank you, Director, for all you do for the city. Was well planned and was just amazing. Thank you very much. And I also, just to keep it on record, I did attend Councilman Wenzel's event with Councilman Saab and Councilman Baidoon. And while he was showing me how to golf, he hit me with this club on the head. So if he offered to teach you, don't take it. Moving on.
You know what? Just one thing. I want to thank all the people from Warren Valley who accommodated the outing, and they made special preparations. For our size of an outing, which they weren't used to having, and everything turned out really well.
Thank you, Councilman. Announcement from city officials.
And also a special birthday to Warren Valley's Jason Purcell.
Yeah.
So, it was his birthday Saturday.
Happy birthday, Jason. Madam Clerk?
It's hard sitting for a while.
Yeah.
Getting old. I just was asked to, on behalf of the city's pension board, I'd like to share that to all of our pensioners and to you as well, if you ever want to visit them, that their office has been moved from City Hall, and they are now located in the Berwyn Center, down the main hall, closer to the back of the building.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Okay?
Thank you very
And
much.
happy Father's Day, and happy, I'm not even gonna, okay. I'll take your word for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Director?
So, hello, Council Chair and Mayor. Just want to announce the kickoff of our summer library reading program Saturday, June 22nd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Carolyn Candy Library. We will be having stories from storyteller Adam Alema at 11 a.m., exotic animal encounters at 12 p.m. Food and snacks will be there, and we'll also have trivia game at 2 p.m. There will be sensory bins, photo booths, scavenger hunts, sand art, and outside games. There will be prizes throughout the program going on through from June 22nd through August 3rd, concluding in a wrap-up party and backpack giveaway at JFK August 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. If anyone is interested in helping us sponsor the summer reading program, let us know. We'll be sending letters out. So hope to see you all there. That's all for now, and thanks for your time, and see you at the library.
Thank you, Director.
You're welcome. I want to pass out a couple flyers here for you. That's okay.
Director?
I'd like to thank everyone for a very successful festival, especially our Dearborn Heights Police Department, our Fire Department, the Building and Maintenance Department, DPW, and also my staff and volunteers. It was a very, very successful weekend and very tiring. I'm still recovering, but I don't have the final numbers, but we did gross, and I say gross because I don't have all the figures from everything else yet, but a little over 90,000. So a little over 76,000 was from the ride companies, even though our attendance was down a little bit from last year, but because I renegotiated the contract and got an additional 2%, we were actually able to bypass the check that we got last year. So that was really successful. And then we ended up, Saturday it rained at like 9 o'clock. We are collecting the $10,000 rain insurance policy that we got. So we did really well and lucky that it was towards the end. However, you never know what it's going to end up being because you don't know what the rides were, because we also got rained out on Wednesday too. So It could have been a better year, but it was still really, really good, and I'm very happy with how everything went. So just to remind everybody, June 27th, we have our first concert coming up, and it has been rescheduled for the location of the Canfield Community Center, starting at 7 o'clock, and we have a Blues Brothers tribute band, and they're fantastic. So hopefully you can all join us for that.
Thank you, Director.
You're welcome.
Great job.
Council Chair. I just have one announcement. We have our Veterans Seminar tomorrow night, 6 to 8. We're addressing Dearborn Treatment Court will come. They have new programs for our veterans. We're going to talk about labor issues, friend of the court issues, PTSD as it affects custody. So we invite all veterans to come tomorrow night. We have speakers from the Veterans Association coming in and a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Farina. Any more announcements from city officials?
Where's it at?
It's here, right in City Hall.
Council chambers?
In Council Chambers, 6 to 8 p.m. Wednesday night.
Madam Clerk, do we have any more from city officials on Zoom or no? Okay, moving on to public comments. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and the city you reside in.
Good evening to the council.
Good evening.
My name is Steve Vale. I live on East Pleasant Ridge and Warren Avenue in the Gulfview Manor subdivision. I was here a month ago discussing and bringing forth to the council issue I have regarding racing that's going down Warren Avenue consistently, very heavily on the weekends. And bringing this issue forward. Again, subjectively, I haven't really seen much change. We still have a lot of racing, a lot of loud cars, but a lot of racing taking place. Don't know exactly what can be done. I mean, I'm being realistic here. I know police can't be everywhere, but it would be nice to, I don't know, whether it's a beefed up patrol, I had mentioned before, whether we just have a car go down Warren with his lights on at normal speed, just to say there's a presence here. Maybe it would slow them down. Now, the car racing on the weekends, it's to 2 o'clock in the morning. I am up at that time, so I do hear it. I can hear them going from Inkster to Beach down to Telegraph. And actually turn on the Telegraph and continue to race. Again, it's just becoming ridiculous. And, I definitely don't want to be, especially with the nice summer nights coming on, having to sleep with my windows closed. So any help that can be derived or any other suggestions? I did fill out a form last time. So I'm just here to report, I haven't seen a change.
Thank you, sir. You said so mostly on the weekend?
Well, it's every night. It starts from the 5 o'clock rush hour. And it goes, but it gets heavier on the weekends. And they seem to know when shift changes for the police department. They seem to be quite heavy for a while, and then you get cars. It's not racing as in drag racing as it is individual cars. Just, I can tell from my experience with engines and RPMs, they're reaching 70, 80 miles an hour down Warren. And then you've got the bikes, they're doing the same thing. So.
Thank you.
Council Chair.
Are you all set, sir?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Councilman, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Mr. Isles. And I've seen them drag racing. I've been driving on either Ford Road or Warren and fly by and sometime on Telegraph, and it's really dangerous. A lot of times young people drive in the car, they get into an accident, the car flips over, someone will be killed. And especially it's a problem during the warm weather. So if our police, and also we can maybe get some help from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office to patrol our streets.
Thank you, Councilman.
Council
Mr.
Chair.
Farina?
Thank you, sir. I've been talking with the auto theft. I used to run the auto theft unit for the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. But we've been looking, I looked at other cities, like Garden City has about 70 cameras. cities around us have 60, 50, 70 cameras. We have 4. One is down, we have 3. So the cameras, the auto theft says to me, look, we need those cameras up around the city. Those cameras would help spot, and they're smart enough to get the license plates of those individuals, and we have other procedures to target where this is happening. So we'll probably bring it back to the council to revisit it. But like I said, those other cities have a lot, and it works.
Meanwhile, can we have some more police presence, especially after 5
Absolutely,
o'clock?
absolutely. So I like the presence, one thing we didn't talk about Saturday night, throughout the festival was the police presence. Our officers went out overtime to work and keep it safe, that's, so.
Council Pro Tem?
Thank you, Councilman.
Yeah, I was leaving, Warren Valley Saturday, and it was probably about, 4 o'clock or something like that, and there was a car coming from east to west, and I was sitting there, there was a red light for me, and that turned green, and I seen this guy coming, he was going pretty fast, and it was like 5 seconds, the light had changed already, and he went right through that light. I mean, if I didn't look ahead and out and see this guy, and he was going pretty fast, so, we've got to do something about this, the speeding, and, it's an officer, we don't have enough staff to do it, we got to do something about it before, it's going to be, we're going to ask for state police maybe to come in and help us out on certain issues, like you said, just a flashing car, a light with a flashing car, but these people nowadays, they don't care about the law. They run the stop signs, it's just that they don't care about authority, and I don't know what we're going to do about it. We got to do something about our city, this is our city, and this is our image we have, and people are just taking these, I don't want to say it's all younger kids, but, there's some older people out there doing the same thing, but, you've got to, like, I don't know what the answer is. I wish someone knew. I think it's the same in every city around here. And it probably is just a staffing or, issue if we had cop on every corner. And then even then, we were standing in the parking lot of City Hall here a couple meetings ago, and these kids come flying through City Hall parking lot, speeding, doing donuts like around it. We're sitting there going, you kidding me? This is a City Hall parking lot. They don't even care. They don't know. In cameras, I have a question about cameras. Now, how does it differ if we have a camera set up and it records a speeder opposed to a resident that takes a video of a speeder with a license plate?
Council Pro Tem, please.
The legal question, I guess, sorry.
Yeah.
I think you're asking, I don't think we allow some of these to prosecute, but someone taking a video is an eyewitness to an event, as opposed to a camera. However, I know in Lansing, I was just talking to a state senator Sunday, I know some of them are changing cameras for the school buses. So we can put them on the stop sign of school buses to catch people that go through. And they might be looking at different ways we can use it. But the cameras give us, and running all the theft, gives us probable cause to look or different reasons to look possibly at those people that are speeding.
Well, how can you use a camera for someone running a red light? They haven't had lights, and if you run the red light, the camera picks you up, and you get sent a ticket for running the red light.
I don't think we can do that now.
Yeah, why can't you videotape?
Like Maryland does, and they do it outstanding how they work it. What we needed to do is survey, like speeders, auto theft, people breaking into cars. Like I said, Garden City has 70 cameras. We have 4, but 3 work.
I'd set up a camera on my corner because in an hour, I can get you 3 or 4 people running a stop sign. On video, I'll get their license plates.
I'll talk to our police department, what we can do to prosecute.
Council Pro Tem, I had something to add here. Actually, I sent a resolution over spoke with Council Chair, but it was too late to put on. I'm putting a resolution forward to actually bring the cameras up, the flock cameras up to 20 in the city. And that will be at the next meeting.
Yeah, I think the auto theft unit has addressed me, Council Chair, and they've asked for more cameras and stuff.
Thank you.
This is a resolution Council's putting forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any more comments? Other comments? Please state your name and the city you live in.
All right, Chris LaPointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. Going back to 13D, the last one we talked about there, just want to go through the ordinance chapters here that are pertinent to this. 8-2E says all licenses issued under this chapter are non-transferable. Upon the transfer of ownership of any trade or business, the new owner shall obtain a license as provided in this chapter and pay the required fee. And then Chapter 8-9B says, an application for renewal will not be considered a renewal if there has been a change in the business or owner. Such a renewal will be treated as an original application for a license. So, Tom, this whole time has been saying it. The ordinances say it. I don't know why it's not being followed. Don't know what else to say about that one. Let's see, regarding.
Leave him finish,
Yeah.
please. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
you can answer after, that's cool. Regarding the BSNA access for council, Charter Section 18.2 makes it extremely clear that all records shall at all times be subject to the audit, examination, or inspection by any member of council. I don't know why the mayor needs to permit you guys access to those kinds of records. He's not here to answer that. I don't know if there's any legal answer to that after I'm
Yeah.
finished speaking that can be given. That's really cut and dry. And then finally, regarding Section 8.9 language being added to the agenda items this week, that was kind of a hot topic issue. I checked all of last week's items, and the language was not present there, despite the administration saying they've been adding it for a while. So I don't know why they would say that when they haven't been. In fact, the marquee sign item was on last week's agenda. It didn't have that language. Identical between the 2 weeks, except for that language. So do not appreciate hearing the administration say that.
Thank you, sir. Councilman, go ahead.
So a point just for about that dealership, they transferred the state license, which is transferable. But the city license, it's an existing dealership in the resolution report, and they put the resolution, they put their application in before the resolution.
Well, the original moratorium was already still in effect.
But it's an existing.
But go up to the microphone, honey.
I mean, we don't need to go back.
Because you have a good point.
Oh, yeah.
You have a good point.
Does he have to have more time?
Yeah, it still has a minute and 22 seconds.
The previous
Yeah. The application for renewal will not be considered a renewal if there's been a change in business or owner. Was there a change in business or ownership?
Right.
Yes.
But the point
Okay.
is the previous moratorium, honey.
Right. Oh, the previous moratorium, yes. That was in effect when they did the application on May 22nd.
It wasn't a new
It's not
car
new,
dealership.
it's
It
not-
wasn't an addition
It's
to.
existing, grandfathered in.
No.
The ordinance clearly says that it's not a renewal. It's a new application. It's a new business. So that's just the point.
I'd like to reopen that then. Council Chair, Council Pro Tem.
If you'd like me to study it, I'll look
No,
at
no,
it
we gotta-
because
we
it's
gotta
not
vote on this
simple.
tonight. We can't-
It's
we
not
can't let
simply
go.
quoting 8.9 and saying that's all it says. Especially where these used car dealerships have state licenses, they have the building permit that they have to go through and a certificate of occupancies. And if it's a transfer, I don't know what the contract had, but I will look at it for next meeting. and have an answer.
Thank you, Mr. Farina. Go ahead. please. State your name and the city you live in.
Rachel Lapointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. Just to follow up on that, I believe there's another section in the ordinance that states that you, like, the transfer, like, it doesn't matter if there was already a business there. So I would just encourage you all, perhaps have whichever lawyers look at it that might be able to give you advice. But I'd encourage all of you to go and read the business licensing ordinances yourself so that you can get that familiarity with it and feel out what it is, and maybe look at it at the next meeting. I think looking at it at the next meeting is fine. Additionally to other comments, in regards to advertising, specifically for Parks and Rec, I would follow the lead of the library. They do a really great job of getting things like flyers out to like the schools. Even if the flyers aren't getting sent home with every student, the principals are sharing them with the families through email or whatever messaging system they use. And then running ads on Facebook would be much cheaper in at least this year compared to buying a whole marquee. And then the only other comment I have for tonight is to wish everybody a happy solstice. June 20th is midsummer, first day of summer. Happy solstice to any pagans, Wiccans, non-religious people who might just need a holiday to celebrate right now. It's a holiday where you celebrate that it's the longest day of the year and you have fun. So I think it's very much in line with Councilman Wenzel's consistent reminders to us to spend time with our families, have a bonfire maybe, have a good time, enjoy the start of summer officially, and have a good couple weeks until we're back again in a couple weeks on Tuesday.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
guys.
much.
Thank you.
Any more comments from resident? Okay, seeing none, moving to Zoom, Madam Clerk.
We have
Who do we have first?
SK.
I have Barbara. She's, yes.
Go ahead, please state your name and the city you live in.
Hi, my name is Barbara. I live on Detroit Street. I have a question. I came to you on the 15th of May regarding an Airbnb next to me that was put up. Every week, we have different people. There's parties, drug deals, thumping and a bumping going on till 3 o'clock in the morning. Since this is advertised as, you know, you can stay here for 3 and 4 days, that, like a hotel, that's no different from the Holiday Inn, Comfort Inn, and that should be commercial. This does not belong in a residential neighborhood that I have to put up with this crap because it's an ongoing problem. Last time, I was told to contact Bob Constant. However, his number and his email that's on the website doesn't work. I was told to call everybody and their 6 brothers, and no one seems to have an answer. I want to know if we can set forth, even asking the attorney, if we can set forth to shut down these Airbnbs, because I can't wait for every one of y'all to get one, because you're going to enjoy this.
Council Chair, if I.
Are you all set, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Thank you very much.
Council
Councilman, go ahead.
Yeah, briefly, and I'm sorry if my email's not working, and I'll have to get everyone my regular law office email, but this is a hot topic everywhere, and there's proposed legislation in Lansing to stop cities from outlawing the Airbnbs, and it's been opposed by, amongst other groups, the MML, Michigan Municipal League. It's terrible when you have these in a residential neighborhood. There's one in the west of Telegraph in the Westwood School District that was, they were not only renting the house out, but they were, had a car rental business. So, I'll have to get with you after the meeting and get the address, and it's not zoned, that type of use is not allowed in, on Detroit Street there in the south end, and it needs to be stopped, it needs to be shut down.
I'm going to follow up.
Mr. Farina, go ahead.
We've studied it. We're looking to put an ordinance together. I've looked at Pennsylvania's laws, New York's laws. I know Michigan, we haven't, as council correctly said, they're leaving it to every city to come up with a way of regulating short-term rentals up to 30 days and 3-day rentals. Obviously, you trigger insurance policy violations for homes that don't have permission to have people in there. But some of our property owners say we don't have a lot, but we do need an ordinance. And we've been working on writing one for Airbnbs, short-term rentals. And then what you're talking about is nuisance activity. And if you're complaining to the police department, when I worked with the forfeiture unit at the prosecutor's office, we go after warning the landlords, the owners of those properties with the nuisance of drug activity, police raids. After the second letter, then we move towards a forfeiture action on that property to seize the property. So there are remedies. We appreciate you letting us know. Please keep in contact with the police. So we'll work on both changing the ordinance, creating an ordinance for us, and 2, working with our police department and nuisance abatement and our ordinance department.
Thank you, Mr. Farina. Moving on.
Barbara?
Oh, I was told that many of the permits were not pulled. I'll give you the address if y'all want it. It's
Not on record, ma'am. You can just email one, also maybe Mr. Constant or that.
All my contact information is with the State Bar of Michigan, so if you go to the State Bar of Michigan, and then my current email and phone numbers and everything is there.
Well, I have a new contestant, that's what we call it. Just came today, they'll be here for 3 days. We're not sleeping around here. This thumping and this bullshit's gotta stop.
You're on Detroit
If it
between,
was at your house, it would be a different story, trust me.
on Detroit Street between what and what?
between
Lehigh,
Lehigh and Colgate. It's the Second Street North.
house north on the east side.
Yes, it is.
I know where it is, thank you.
Identified, but.
Thank you, thank you.
Happy Father's Day to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am, thank you very much.
Council Pro Tem, just something quick. Can we just put a temporary moratorium on until we figure out what we're doing with Airbnbs?
Microphone.
Microphone, Roger. Your
Is
microphone.
microphone on?
All right. Well, we can sit down and study it, how to, like I said, the first step right now to get action is get a nuisance abatement action going. But long-term, we need to identify how many Airbnbs, and they change. So I would like to, and where they are, changes. So let's work on the ordinance at the same time that we push the nuisance abatement. We keep the police involved and ordinance involved.
We
Like
get
you
that
said, I
ASAP.
agree with you 100%. Let's take action now.
I don't think it matters how many there are.
Thank you, Mr. Farina.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, moving on. Next.
Ready?
SK was next.
Yes, there you go.
Please state
Hi,
your.
this is Sue Kaminsky, Amboy Street, Dearborn Heights. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Sue, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. It came to my attention by another resident, and I don't know how this came out, but that I am anti-police and I am for defunding the police. And that could not be more incorrect. So I wanted to publicly state that that is very incorrect. I am a huge advocate and have been for 2.5 years for the Dearborn Heights Police. I have nothing but respect for our officers. And the only thing that I've ever had an issue with is not following Act 78 for our promotions, hiring, discipline, anything that is done within the police department for those things. But I wanted to clarify, I am in full support of our officers and probably one of your biggest advocates.
Thank you.
And that was it.
Thank you very much, Sue. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, moving on.
You're unmuted.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
We've got another holiday coming up.
Please state your name and the city you live in.
Oh, they said it, so. Tim Emery, Eaton, Dearborn Heights.
Thank you.
Flag Day, June 14th.
Yeah.
And after that one of my favorite holidays is Independence Day.
14th.
Some of you know why, but, yes, we are very lucky to live in this country, to have the freedoms and stuff that we do have. And I was glad to hear that everything went good on Saturday, over the weekend for the picnic. So,
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you very much.
keep up good work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tim.
Any more comments from the public?
Council Pro Tem,
Councilman?
I'd like to suspend the rules and reopen our meeting and go to item 13D because none of us four sitting here know exactly the rules for granting this license. If we approve this license, we're not doing our job as city council members because none of us know exactly what this license transfer is, if it's legal or not. None of us know that. And by approving it, we are not doing our job.
Councilman,
We should table it until we find out the specifics on this.
I think it's already been voted on and we
know,
went
I
through the
suspend the rules.
process with the city
I don't-
clerk and the building.
Well, we just heard things. I mean, we just heard, what are the rules on this for this license transfer? The official rules? You don't know, and you voted yes on it.
I have, you
Madam
all
Clerk.
have the certificate of occupancy.
I mean, the
know
ones that Mr.
owner-
Lapointe brought up.
That's what I'm reading right
Okay.
now. You have the certificate of occupancy, it was in your backup. The property or purchaser is the same owner. The occupant is now Cars R Us. It was issued by the building department as a certificate of occupancy. It is not a transfer of the license. He obtained a new license for the same type of business.
What's that mean? That's right.
So just a new like corporation
I'm
that you
sorry.
opened up,
Or change your name, you mean?
like a change in business name or license
We
name?
don't
It's the
know. I
same
mean,
owner. I
we're
can, let me see if
approving
I
this.
still got it open. Hold on one second. Do you want me to look in building or? I don't know if I can get into building. I know, but I don't.
Or was it maybe a franchise that they bought out of or bringing in?
See,
It is the same owner. It is the same owner.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same owner of
Okay, well, that's fine.
the marina, I think property is the owner of the or he's the owner. And prior to this, it was La Marina Cars. Auto
It's the
sales
same
or something.
owner?
Same owners, change the name.
The
So like
building,
maybe a new manager or supervisor?
yeah. So
or something.
I can tell you that La Marina property was the owner of the building, and I think I can't tell you
Or
about
maybe
Yeah, that's
put it a
fine.
different.
occupant.
put it a different
The
LLC.
occupant is
Yeah,
a different name.
LLC.
Different
The
LLC.
occupant's a different name.
The occupant is a different name, that and I
It's the
can't
same
get into
owner.
See,
building.
Okay.
Yes.
what would be wrong if we tabled this to the next meeting until we found out exactly? I mean, because we're pretty adamant about, I mean, I am about new licenses or any license for auto sales, in Dearborn Heights. I mean, what would be wrong? I mean, is it someone that someone knows and they're just wanting to get this?
Well, Councilman, if it's, she's saying the same owner, so, I mean, there's no.
It's in violation of the moratorium, we can, you know, we
Same
have
owner,
remedies.
but I mean, if you change the, why is, what's he doing here then? I mean,
Council Chair, maybe he had a partner that walked out and got a new LLC, maybe he got divorced, maybe something. He just started a new
we
LLC.
don't know. I mean,
But that's none of our business, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the building department issued it, the certificate of occupancy to run that business out of that location.
well, I mean, it's a certificate of occupancy that, it just shows that the building's safe or up to code, it doesn't matter.
And
It's not up to the building
And the
department
owner
to
applied
regulate what
for
kind of
it
business
for
goes in there.
the same type of business.
For that business, correct. Okay, moving on.
Well,
Do I have a
I
motion?
make a motion to suspend the rules?
Do we have a motion on the table, suspend the rules? Do we have a second? We don't have a second. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Of course.
Do we have a second?
Let's go home. Let's not take care of business.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Madam,
He wants to stay.
Madam Clerk, please take roll call for adjourn.
For adjourn? Hassan Brui? Hassan Ahmad?
Yes.
Robert Constant?
Yes.
Tom Wenzel?
No.
Hassan Saab?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-1.
Motion, thank you.